Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Rakatham to the whole sincere elect. I'm going to go straight into it, man. You know, the year of prophecy, the year of the turn up. A lot of things is happening in a spiritual realm that's going to manifest in the physical, man. Why? Because it was predestined to you, man. It's called prophecy, which means to say before. And the Lord sends these men out, the prophets, you know, so, aka the seers, the visionaries, to foretell what's coming down the pike, man, to warn his people. That's why Ezekiel, the third chapter, it tells you to give Israel warning from him. Warning from who? Heavenly Father, man. Because we're like spiritual conduits of the Lord, and we're the mouthpiece, a representation of this truth, to preach the word and the gospel around the four winds of the earth before the destruction comes. Now we're in the midst of the destruction coming, man. Now we're in the midst, Amos 8 and 11, because now you got, they're saying over there in America, they're going to be more apocalyptic events. Or did one article sit down the other day saying that they're going to shut down all communication networks, man.
Yep.
In the time of Jacob's trouble, there ain't going to be no live streams, none of that. They're going to cut off the internet. They're going to cut off all the services. Basically, like they're going to turn it into China.
Yeah.
They're going to restrict everything. It's going to be censored, man. There's going to be violence. There's going to be bloodshed out there.
If I can back you, every government that has major protests, the same thing always happens. It's always a thing of you shut down the communication platforms so that you prevent the protests from being organized.
You call it peaceful protesting, but then it turns all of a sudden violent, man. You know, and it's all orchestrated by the left-hand side anyway, because he wants these order chaos scenarios so he can reinforce that order, which is the new world order, man. Let's read that first.
Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water.
And even though that's happening at the same time, we're in a time where everyone's going to be famished, which means to be stricken of hunger, to be malnourished, to go without food, to be hungry. You know, that's what's going to happen in these last days. But also, go ahead.
But of hearing the words of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, we're in that time now, because this truth is a terror unto the wicked, man. It's tearing down their strongholds of lies, man. Lies are being quenched, deceit's being quenched right now. It's been overthrown by the word of this truth. This word is just the truth. That's what it is. Pure, honest, unadulterated truth. Straight and narrow, man. That's the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. He doesn't mix these words. We don't chase it with nothing. There's a straight yay or nay, man. You know, just with the whole situation, the abortion thing right now, raid and woe. The Lord straight with it. Told you in the scriptures, you're not to make your kids pass through the fire, man.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to sacrifice your kids onto Molech and all that, man. Or put them to death. You know, unnaturally, man. In wickedness, man. You're not supposed to, mortify your members like that, man. You heifers out here. You bitches out here, celebrating that. Celebrating murdering your own seed, man. Which is totally demonic. That's why a lot of you women, you're gonna catch hell in these last times, in these last days, in the days that we're in right now.
Scripture says, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap.
Yep.
And these bitches be sowing death. They're literally protesting to be able to sow death in the world. So
yep.
It's going to be beautiful when the Lord reaps that death onto you, right?
And pro-choice.
Yeah. Which a Lord's will,
in them days when the Lord is putting you to death, the Lord,
tells you why. Or it lets you see why he's putting you to death, all the wickedness that you have done.
Right? Because
Robert shared the clip. I don't know if any of you saw it of the late abortion.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
So, yeah, man, that shit was horrific, man. It
Looked like someone who had been hit by a car,
limbs,
like a bus.
Yeah. Neck is cut up. The intestines overgrown.
Now they're even saying that those aborted babies are in the vaccine shots, man. They're in the jump shot. They're putting aborted feces, the aborted cells inside them fucking jump shots, man. No wonder people bodies are also, discombobulated and fucked up, man. You got foreign bodies inside of your own body, man, taking the jump shots. This white man is the devil, man. Let's never trust thine enemy, man. They're positioned to liars, man. Falsehoods, man. That's what they're about, witchcraft. And there's another story, the other day, regarding the abortion thing. A bitch aborted her baby, and the nurse, while she was, basically threw the baby in the bin. When they took the baby and all that, she mixed up with the sheets, the bed sheets, acting like it wasn't in there, and she just threw it in the bin, man.
That is so. That's what the scripture says. The women of our people is cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the daughters of our were totally cool, man. They're wicked out. I was watching one podcast, and these women were just running them, of course, it was all nigger women. 2 Hispanic ladies in there as well, but majority of them are nigger women, man, being demonic as hell, man. Talking about what they don't want to do, what they are going to do, what they will do, what they won't do. When all you're supposed to do is just be submissive to your man, man. You can't even do that. You're telling guys you're gonna withhold sex, and it's up to you and all this, man. That's total wickedness, man. Just to even do that little menial duty, you can't even do that.
Because that's what do you call it?
When you read 1 Corinthians 11th chapter, it speaks about you're not even as a man, you're not allowed to deny what.
You're not supposed to deny nothing.
Because especially unless it says for fasting or
menstrual season or something,
exactly.
She's unclean, she's defiled, and you just had a pregnancy or something like that. Then you're not supposed to. That's why a man's supposed to have more than one. Because their argument was, I might not feel like it. Yeah, but even if you don't feel like it, you still got a duty. You got a duty to your man. That's part of the scriptures, man. To not abstain from marrying with your husband, which means to join together, have sex.
I was just gonna say, in Genesis, the Lord, from the very first book, in the first chapter, man, the Lord created man and told him, and man, woman, and told him to multiply the earth. Even with the law, the law don't give a fuck about your feelings. There's a law in there about a woman when a man has 2 wives, man. You might feel stronger to one wife than the other, but you still got to give the duty.
Exodus 21:10 as well. And that's the whole duty of man being with a woman. You join together. You have a obligated duty. It's not a choice or whether you want to do it or not. You have to fucking do it. You ain't got no fucking choice. A man has to be stagnant in his role. He has to always maintain his masculine role and be a husband and be the protector and guider and all that, enforcer. But then a woman can just hightail it whenever she wants to be feminine. She can mix it up and shit when she wants to. And all that. That's bullshit, man. You got a duty to your husband, and that's unto your death. When you're joined together with that man, you're his servant unto death. Until death do you part, literally, man. You can't choose when you want to serve your husband, man. And even if you don't, that's why a man's allowed to have more than one. Because if you end up arguing with your bitch because she don't want to lay down with you, you tell her to fuck off, and then you go and get your other wife, man. And she'll be more than happy to deal with you, man. Because they're all going to be waiting in line anyway. In the kingdom, we ain't going to have to deal with this bullshit monogamy system, man. We're going to have plenty of women, man. We're going to multiply like fucking lions for real. There's one video that said lions pop their lionesses every 15 fucking minutes, 3-4 times in a day. They just be popping their lioness, man. Spreading the seed, man. So what the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with you women, man? You don't want to do your obligated duties because this white man's fucking put a battery in your damn back.
So it's Isaiah 60 and from 21, thy people also shall be all righteous. Yeah.
They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified.
Thank you as well. The importance of bringing forth seed, like sex is the act of sex. The whole purpose of it is to bring forth seed. Even though in this society it's just like a recreational activity, it's something people just do for fun. But to show you the severity of it, look at the patriarch Judah and his children. When the eldest child died with the wife, the Lord struck down Judah's children, secondborn, and that because of the fact that he didn't want to do his duty to fulfill the seed. So you think as a woman, you can then, in a similar vein, decide that you're not going to give your man the box. You're denying him the right to regenerate the seed, man. That's a serious thing. You're basically trying to
neglect your duties, man. Neglect your whole purpose. Now bitches don't even want to breastfeed. They want formula and all that shit. They don't want to do nothing they was made to do.
I just want to work for Esau, though.
That's what I want to be independent. All right, cool. Because when all hell breaks loose, you're going to have to answer for that, man. That's why in the scriptures, there's plenty of precepts detailing what's going to happen to a lot of these women out here. They're going to be catching untimely hell because they've been running their mouths for too long. They've been living too cushy, man. That's why it says you rise up careless doors, living at ease, bro. You lot are just lavishing with the soulful white man, man. You sugar daddy eat. You don't want to do your daily duties. You don't want to cook and clean no more, man. So what is your benefit? What is the use of you? What do we need you for, man? You don't even want to do your natural duties.
That's a good question. And
The answer for the large majority of you, you ain't needed.
that's why, which one I
Told in that Ezekiel 9, right? It mentions women
twice.
right?
Yeah. Smite, both maids, right, and young women.
Maid is a female servant.
Mm.
So the Lord saying, smite these little female heifers that don't want to serve their men. A maid is a female servant. That's what a maid is. So the Lord saying, smite them because they're not even doing their duties. And then the old heifers, they just got to go because they're just stuck in their ways.
Hey, if you look at us, right, if we don't do our duty unto the Most High, we get put to death.
Exactly.
Right? So, hey, well, I'll finish it off. Verse 22, right, says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. Our Yahweh will hasten it in his time.
Yeah, so the Lord gonna quicken it in that time in the kingdom. We're gonna be multiplying like fucking rabbits, man. We're just gonna be, frolicking and bringing back the seed. Before you know it, the kingdom of heaven is just gonna be multiplying like crazy, man.
Yep.
The kingdom of heaven starts with us. Before the actual physical building and all that, building the roads and all that starts with us. So we're gonna be multiplying like fucking chipmunks out here, man. We're gonna be busting them nuts, man. And rightfully so, man. Because we need to bring back the nation. So a lot of Jakes are gonna be put to death.
Yeah, right.
2/3 are gonna get put out of their misery, man. They're too far gone.
Yeah, First Timothy, so like this is saving childbearing. Basically, so at the end of the day, man, the only way that the majority of these women are gonna get out of here is through the act of childbearing, man, bringing forth the seed of an elect man.
Being with it.
Yeah.
This is First Timothy 2, and I'll start from 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. And as simple as the women are, it's such an important and pressing topic that Paul wrote to Timothy about it. He wrote it about it in the book of Romans. He wrote about it, the women giving themselves to things that were not convenient, same as the men. He wrote about the Ephesians, about the order, because he had different churches letting women creep up into different things.
I said he wrote about today. It was effectively prophecy, because that's legit what you're seeing today, but proving that this is Rome all over again.
Yep.
Right, because when Paul was writing that was during the
Kingdom of the Romans, right? So now fast forward, it's the same thing, but on steroids, man.
Yeah, westernization. Back then it was the Hellenization.
Yeah.
And he was just writing what was going on around him. Major concerns that was happening with the nation of Israel, how it was going off. And it's the same shit they're doing now, man. But even like you said, on steroids, man, they're even worse with it now. They got pride parades in a holy land. They're just totally like Jake and the other nations, 2/3, man. The 2/3 in the other heathen nations, they're just totally out of their minds, man. With what they're doing. Like Apostle Elder Tahar played the video the other day of a live stream of the pride parade in New York, wherever it was. And you can see the majority of the crowd was all Jakes, man.
Yeah.
And drag and all this madness, man. They're the ones pushing it, like taking it to that level, man. They're exceeding the ways of the wicked, man. They're heightening it, man. So the Lord's gonna put 2/3 out of their misery, and He's gonna destroy Esau Edom, man. There's no mercy for these devils, man. Because of what they're doing in the Lord's land, let alone that, just along with that, the Lord's gonna destroy them, man. That pride shit, man, and all that. Because it tells you in the scripture, there's a great pride, the city shall be troubled, man. These people are just lustful and walking in lasciviousness and great pride, thinking that their shit don't stink. Now they brought out an article saying that the majority of Americans don't even believe in the Most High no more. They're turning up atheists and all that, or they're just doubting that the Lord even exists. The Lord is going to tear this place up. That's why the earth is going real to and fro like a drum. The Lord is really going to let loose out here, man. He's going to show you that He's always been around, man, and that He's a terrible demon-like power. He's the king of terrors, man. These people are not ready, man. So the Lord's sitting back, slow to anger, and just waiting, man. The Lord is the ultimate serpent, man. He's patient as hell. And when He strikes, He's just going to strike everything at once. All you people are going to be fucked, man. We ain't going to be crying for you niggas either, man. Just like that Jake that got shot 90 times, 9 times 10 to what 50 Cent had to suffer, like the brother said. 50 got hit 9 times. This nigga got hit with 90 kind of bullets. And they said when he was doing an autopsy, They couldn't even fucking calculate how many bullets is inside this nigga, man. He was just riddled with bullets. They said he can't even count, man. So the Lord had hate for that nigga. The Lord had a special hate for that Jaden, or whatever his name was, man. Or whatever that guy's name was. I think that's his auntie's name, his mother's name. Whatever that guy's name was, man. The Lord has extreme prejudice against that guy. He must have pissed the Lord off in hefty way for the Lord to make an extreme death come to him like that. That's an extreme punishment of death. 9 bullets, man.
Right. That's very far.
If the story is true, that is, you know how Esau does. He just does shit to wild people.
Yeah.
But even I think obviously probably because the Lord said
they saw strokes in the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
yeah, them death angels. You just read Ezekiel 9. Them death angels are out here, man. They're gonna get turned up in more and more spicy in these last days, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna be showing themselves more and more.
Yeah.
You know, because it's time for judgment, man. The talking's gonna stop soon, man. There's gonna be pure hell out here. That's why we're gonna be off the streets soon. We're gonna be off these live streams. When all hell breaks loose, man, this total civil unrest, you ain't gonna see the prophets out here, no.
Yeah, because more and more, as the world gets more and more wicked, right, animosity against the scriptures gets more and more heightened, right? For instance, watching the elders out in Dallas, right, they're basically going into that, you know, like for instance, you've got all of these IUIC guys trying to, you know, speak in front of churches. You would think that's the one place where people would be, you know, more keen to hear them, receptive, right? But guess what? Them niggas, wait, what the scripture say, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, now that killeth the prophets, right? And it's the same thing with as with all of these abortion laws and stuff like that, right? And then all of the different things that Esau's going to start doing to demonize the men of the Lord. Because this is the thing, the demonization of the men of the Lord is an important thing, right?
That's the most important.
Yeah.
Esau's slaughtering of Israel.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's going to be a great insurrection against them.
Yeah.
He's going to come for us mainly.
Yeah, because we ain't down with
What's going on in this world? You know, these people that are speaking on the way to the spot, right? These people will coax you into an answer, right? Of what you believe, right? They'll start saying, "Oh, so you down with the with the the alphabet agenda? Are you down with abortion?" Right? And when they add P with it, right, they're gonna be looking at us like, "What? So wait, you mean a man can't love who he wants to love?" Right? And then we're just constantly going to be doing what? Right? Cursing these things out. And that's going to make us an enemy. That's the scriptures in Isaiah, the 59th chapter, right? He that had departed from evil maketh himself a prey. Right? And these people out here are predators, man. Right? And that even includes a lot of our own people. Right? They're predators against us.
You know, they're going to hate because we rebuke it from the gate, man. They hate us because we speak righteousness, man. Speak upright. You might as well get that. 5 and 8. You know, that's what it is, man. They hate them that rebuke us in the gate because we speak uprightly. We come in the spirit of the Lord, and even the Lord said they're going to hate you because they hated him, because the message that he came with, and because of the works that they've done there and was of evil. This place is totally like exceeding wickedly, man. Exceeding in wickedness. And that's why this place needs to be judged, man, because it's not upholding the standards of the scriptures, which is Yahweh Shem Yahshai's word, man. So in righteousness, man. They're not upholding that. They're upholding their lascivious acts, man. It's the forms of the lust of their flesh, which is a do as thou wilt spirit. That's why they've got pride parades everywhere. That's why they're using the sign of the rainbow. They totally abominized it. Man. Yeah. The sign of the rainbow flag was supposed to symbolize the Lord not flooding the earth again with water.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be a symbol of righteousness for the nation of Israel. But now they've taken that and totally abominized, totally defiled it. And now it's a flag of fucking lascivious acts, man. Yeah. Sodomism and all that, man. Wickedness. Yeah. So the Lord is going to destroy this place, man.
Like I say, they've taken the Lord's law and they literally in bizarre world style perverted it. It will sound comical, but the copyright, like even in Esau's realm, they have this thing of intellectual property where if you think of something that you created, it's your right. You have the whole patent office for that purpose. The Lord created the rainbow for the purpose of signifying that. And Esau, Edom, being the devil that he is, putting himself in the position of the Most High, has taken that and said, "Yeah, fuck what the Most High said. I believe that this stands for, you know what I mean."
Taking the Lord's covenant and he totally defiled it, man.
you've used
What? Because the flood came because of the acts that these alphabet people do, right? The flood came because there would have been pride back before the flood, right? There would have been all kind of wickedness, happening before the flood, right? And then once the flood was there, then there was a token. First, then there was a token in the rainbow. So then, for them to do the same things for the reason why the Lord flooded the earth in the first place,
and then use the symbol
and
for
use the symbols, yeah.
For the same wicked act that they got judged for.
Yeah,
You know what? But really, they're putting a marker on themselves, man.
That's what it is.
You
You
know?
mark yourself for death. Everyone that's partaking in that, in pride festivities and all that, they're partaking in the death cult, man.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get what you desire, man, which is total destruction. Yeah.
Just gonna move because of the
Lights getting a bit dark. Hey, but
we gotta understand as well with that alphabet gang activity.
The Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for that, to the point where, and the destruction was so significant and spiritual that the word for the man on man action is now referred to the sodomy. You got to think about that. Like, the Heavenly Father made such an example out of them that even the people that are down with the alphabet gang still use that terminology, because you got to understand the Lord is deeper than you fucking Edomites think, man. Every single one of these places, whether it be London, Tel Aviv, all the rest of it, the Lord's gonna leave no stone unturned when He destroys it, man. Because those places, just for that alone, if you wanna take out all the other evil that you've done, it has to be
just for that alone, get that Sodom and Gomorrah, get Luke 6. Just as in the day of Noah. It says that Sodom and Gomorrah as well, that same precept, man. Because that's what's coming for this place, man. Because this place is exceedingly wicked, man. There's no recompense for this place. There's no resetting. The only resetting that's going to come is by way of that fire, man. The Lord destroyed the earth by way of the first death, which by water. But He never said He wasn't going to destroy the earth again. This time He's going to destroy it by way of fire, man. And rightfully so. That's going to be the cleansing agent to get rid of all this filth and this scum in the earth.
Yep. Says 2 Moses 15, 5 and 6. Behold, saith the Lord, I'll bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Yeah, they even just said that a new video come out, Darby 007. He just did a video saying that there's a bunch of locusts and all that again over there. One of them places. There's crops just getting destroyed all over again. The Lord's plaguing, man. Why? Because this place needs to get judged. It's gone past the threshold of wickedness now, man.
Yep.
Just like in ancient kingdoms, when they went past that threshold of wickedness, the Lord judged them, man. This kingdom is no different. This kingdom is not benevolent. It's just a different beast. It was just that's like the fourth beast. It was different from all the others, man. Tells you that in Daniel 7. But it's still a heathen king. It's still a manly kingdom. So it's going to be destroyed, man. It's had its rise and now it's going to have its demise.
Verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled.
So it's fulfilled. Your wickedness is fulfilled, man. You try to do all this, these wicked philosophies that you push throughout the whole earth through your demonocracy, you call democracy, you know, all this wicked, strong drink that you made the whole world to drink and get drunk off that Babylonian wine, that Babylonian juice, and the people are drunk off it now. Where, people's morals are just totally decayed, man. People don't have no more morals, man, to the point where they even let their kids get fucking, basically,
Taught by them.
Get taught by drag queens and shit, man. Or reading the drag queen novels and shit like that. Like RuPaul and all these things, man. Like all this nasty shit.
and when you look at
A lot of the videos where people are going into them, meetings, most of the time it's women that are there with their children. Yeah, it's Edomite women majority of the time. Right, but obviously whatever the Edomite woman does, the Israelite woman don't follow.
All that shit there is like scarring your kids for life, man. You're letting them see a man's balls dangling in their face. He's dressed up like a damn woman, half man, half woman, an androgynous demon, basically, Baphometism.
Yeah.
In front of your kid's face, man. That's totally demonic, man.
Yeah. Which drag queen was always something that was more of a sexual thing, right? So
it used
really,
to be like a private thing. You used to go like Central London.
exactly.
There'll be a different certain part. They call it Soho, and that's like the district of the Central London, and that's only where certain suit and ties will go after working hours and all that.
Yeah.
It's like a private kind of area, man. It's not like on the main road. You have to like journey there, and it's like on the back roads and shit. Yeah, and it's all full of like fucking horse shops and all that other shit, man. Adult services basically.
Yeah.
But now they just like it's main road, it's main street. Now it's just out there in your face. Everywhere you go, you have to accept it. Even if you're not with the shit, you have to parlay in it. That's like in the time of Job.
Yeah.
He said he was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, man.
A lot.
Salakia. He was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked.
Yeah.
Because of the wicked acts that they was doing, man.
Yeah.
And now Sodom and Gomorrah is here all over again, spiritually.
Yeah.
Sodom and Egypt. Yeah.
So Isaiah 19:14, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. And I just say it back to back. You had one of these celebrate award ceremonies recently, where you had like pretty much all of the alphabet gang show up in full attendance. You had like some celebrities like that Magic Johnson's son, that freak with like wearing some sort of like elf gimp kind of shit with like some green fur woman's jacket with some pom pom, whatever he was wearing. You had that witch Summer Walker wearing literally tassels on her tits and fucking and basically pretty much just walking around naked with tassels on her tits in the name of fashion. And that's what Edom will do, man. And then what he does is that he perpetuates that wickedness as normality, man. Yeah. The scripture talks about treating a child in the way that he should be young. Because what you're doing, that's why, brothers always say it, even when you see your colleagues that might be in the workplace above the threshold of 30, they'll always say some shit like that. Under 25 generation, they're a bit different. They're fucked. And, people always say that about the young generation, but this young generation, they are fucked. And that's because they've grown up in the fucking TikTok, Snapchat, you know what I mean? Like generation of Esau's wickedness is easily accessible to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's turning them into gremlins, man.
Yeah.
Super gremlins. Right, and it's what do you call it? What, because you're speaking about that award ceremony and normalization of all of these things. But what people don't actually understand is they're partaking in straight up witchcraft. Yeah. As for instance, you read Isaiah the 47th chapter, which speaks about
basically carrying on in the witchcraft.
That you have since your youth, since America's inception, it's been all about witchcraft, right? So when you actually got, for instance, the adult entertainment industry pushed, like for instance, eating ass, right? But then you go into what that is in witchcraft, that is opulent infant, right? I.e., kissing the devil's anus, right? So basically, he's pushing out all of these things, and people are partaking in it.
Sexual magic.
Sex magic.
Because that's all that was. That was all just. That was basically a freak orgy.
It was a freak orgy fest.
That's basically what that thing was,
right? It was a sex part, and then even on that as well. The not just the music, but you gotta understand this shit has become so normalized. Like we was going into, like back in the ancient world, like you gotta understand, like a woman like that would have been straight up automatically slaughtered. But in this society, people look at that and they will look at you strangely for being a Jake and that kind of setting like that. But they'll accept it. They'll accept the Mo or Edomite and that kind of behavior.
So Isaiah 5:20. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, sweet for bitter.
And that's what they're doing, man. Things that the Lord prohibited. That's in the scriptures, like sodomy, fornicating with animals and all of that. People, Esau is putting legislation to make it legal, to make it lawful, man. Including the peas, man, as well, man. The torpedoes, man. He's making that lawful. For a man to want to look at kids, little babies, and lust after them, man. Total wickedness, man. They're putting darkness for light and light for darkness, man. Bitter for sweet. And that's the society. This, as you said, this is Sodom and Gomorrah on steroids, man.
Yeah.
Babylon the Great. That's why it's called the land of confusion, because you can actually, this is like you can just do what you want, be who you want. There's no laws, there's no stipulation, there's no boundaries, man. That's what Babylon the Great's about, having no boundaries. Where there is boundaries in the scriptures. Yeah. But then they say they're God-fearing people. That's why in Job 15 tells you that the congregation of hypocrites is going to be made desolate with fire, man. Because they're a bunch of hypocrites. They said they're God-fearing Christians, and then but they're at the same time, same mouth, they're eating swine's flesh, man. They're promoting to eat swine. They're putting swine in everything to eat. Then the women are allowed to be over men. They're allowed to have, marry a damn animal, man. Man's allowed to be with another man, woman with woman. Now a man's allowed to be with a little born baby, man. A woman's allowed to abort their kids. Everything that's prohibited in the scriptures, they push. So they're the congregation of hypocrites, man.
Even because I'm gonna word this carefully, but if you look at Esau's society, right? If you just process the statement, if you can kill the child, what stops you from doing the other thing? How can you justify being able to kill it but not being able to do the other things that this man wants to do? You can fill in the blanks, right? But that's what happens when you open up that keg, right, of wickedness, right?
Little
Saying,
leaven, man.
yeah, a little leaven the whole lump. That's it, right? Yeah, that's the point. A little leaven the whole lump.
That's what you're seeing right now. It grows up in little spurts, man.
Yeah.
And now it's just like a cancer spreading. Now everyone's engulfed in it. Even if you weren't down with this shit 10 years ago, now you're just accepting the shit because it's in your face so much.
You know, there was a time you could confidently say, you knew Jay was down low back then, but back in the day, you could confidently say, nah, black people don't really do that. Right? Back in the day, you could say, yeah, black people don't have abortions there, but black people don't really, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't really, basically do anal sex and shit like that. Nowadays, Jay do everything. Right?
They take it to the forefront. They exceed the wicked, man. They take it to the next level.
Righteous more excellent than his neighbor, but the word wicked
Seducing them. That's what Jake did. And then you got mainstream niggas like Kendrick fucking Lamar pushing his madness as well. And got the audacity to mock the death of the Lord by way of a damn crown of thorns on his head, a diamond encrusted crown of thorns, which he said cost like $3 million to make. The devil made for him to wear, and he has to wear because he has to obey his masters, that he sold out to. And he wore that crown of thorns in Glastonbury with blood all sprinkled on his fucking forehead, talking about women's rights and all that, women's lib. Like that guy's a top straight up demon. The law wasn't down for no women's rights, man, women's lib, when he was on the scene. And first of all, you make a mockery of the Lord's death, man.
Get the one when it says when the woman tries to say blessed be the cats.
So the Lord is gonna kill you, man. The Lord's gonna kill niggas like Kendrick Lamar for what he's doing, man. Because he's based on a mock ritual of the Lord's sacrifice of him sacrificing himself for the nation of Israel, just to do a fucking performance for his trolls out there, man, and to appease his damn debt and his sugar daddy Eve, the white man, devil that he sold out to. The Lord don't kill that nigga because he's totally pushing. He's basically a false messiah, and even the Lord said that in these last days there's going to be false messiahs, antichrist, that's going to reveal themselves, man, acting like they're the chosen one, acting like they're the Lord himself. You make a mockery of the Lord, man. So the Lord's going to kill that nigga Kendrick Lamar and all these followers, man. Talking about some women's rights and all that bullshit. Pro-choice and all this madness. What, Luke?
I got those. This is Luke 17 and 26. And it reads fucking Satan, bro. Luke 17 and 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man.
The Son of Man is the time that we're in now. The second coming, the advent of the Lord, man. The coming of the Lord. And he said he's going to come as a thief in the night. And everyone least expected. Because the Lord likes to deal with something called the element of surprise, man. He likes to catch you when you're slipping. Just like at the time of the first death, in the time of Noah, wicked niggas back then didn't think that the earth was going to be, full of water. They're going to drown in the waters and all that. They didn't think that was going to happen. They didn't even know about rain back then. But the Lord made it happen. And it came all of a sudden. And the same thing is going to happen now. All these people living it up in pride, doing all this wicked, man, enjoying themselves. And then all of a sudden, it's going to be lights out, man. Straight up death and blood-curdling cries up here.
They did eat, they drank, they married wives.
Yeah, they're eating, they're marrying wives. Men are marrying men. All this wickedness, man. Women are, dying to have abortions, running to clinics, running from state to state. Bitches will pay like $2 grand just to go to another state just to have a fucking abortion, man. And then they said that even like the men, like the vasectomy rate skyrocketed. Men are just clipping their rods, man. So this place is totally backwards, man. This place needs to be destroyed. Men are clipping their own rods, man. Having vasectomies and shit. Because they don't want to bust nuts and have seed.
Yeah, because they've made it all about pleasure.
Yeah.
right? Because once again, one of the scriptures says, ultimately, it's the Most High that opens the womb, closes the womb, right? So that's why Esau just pushes, once again, as we mentioned, this whole doest thou wilt spirit, right? Whereas in the ancient world, everything was about accountability. Right? If you lay down with a woman, right? What you call it? You had a child with her. You had to pay dowry. Depending on the way you got the woman, if you the pastor, right? You saw you liked, you took it. Well, guess what? You had a bigger dowry to pay, but guess what? Those stipulations are not. You couldn't put her away all your ways. Right, as we quoted in Exodus, the 21st chapter, right? It speaks about if you got yourself a second wife, so he was able to do that, right? Or however many, you still had to take care of your previous wife, right? Whereas in this kingdom, what does Esau push? Just have sex and move on to the next one, then the next one. He's breaking a whole load of bitch.
Adultery.
That's what it is.
Adultery.
So they did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all.
So it's unexpected. No one was expecting to die that day. They thought they were going to get married, and they was going to live their life happily ever after, not knowing that the next day, or that very day, the Lord's going to judge all their asses, man, and drown them in the waters. And save eight people. No one in his family, man.
It says, likewise also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built.
So they did the same thing as Sodom and Gomorrah. They built, read that again, there was building, all of that. You got Jake talking about investing in property, property developments and all this shit. They want to build and all this, and the Lord's are getting ready to destroy this place, man. So read that again.
Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they
buying
built.
And selling crypto, investing in all this other metaverse and all this bullshit. Go ahead.
But the same day that Lot went out from Sodom and rained fire and brimstone from heaven.
So this time that fire and brimstone is going to be by way of what? ICBM missile.
Yeah. The Lord's terrorists.
All the little Lord did is made it more sophisticated. Instead of this splitting the atom in the sky, he made these scientists come together, split the atom, and put in a fucking actual missile technology, man. Weaponry, man. Warheads and all that. Supersonic missiles, hypersonic missiles. Different types, man. So now it's been perfected. So now the Lord's going to use that same technology, which is this fire and brimstone, to destroy this kingdom, man. Read that part again.
But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all.
Yeah, and the spiritual ark is what today? Starting with this word, the spiritual ark is the chariots, man. That's the ark of that we're in right now. The ark of our salvation, man. At the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord actually had to send an angel to get Lot out of those cities before he destroyed it. Before that, Noah had to build an actual ark. This time, the ark's going to be those chariots. So when the chariots come, they're going to beam up the elect. Simultaneously, this whole kingdom is going to be destroyed in fire, man.
Well, that's why they've been revealing themselves more. The Lord is revealing himself gradually.
Now the time is done, man. Now it's just read in Second Ezra, man. The wickedness has been accomplished, basically.
Yeah.
They've passed the threshold of wickedness now. Now it's just time for the Lord to just open up a can of whoop-ass in this place, man. There's no more talking to do, really, man. We're seeing it unfold right now. That's why you're seeing situations like Finland and Sweden joining NATO now. This prophecy is being fulfilled, man. And this is going to rouse up Russia, Gog and Magog even more. So that war cauldron, that pot of war is boiling up even more and more, man. And it's getting closer and closer. We're in that time, man.
Yeah.
Judgment Day is going to come. When Judgment Day actually comes, man, these people are not going to be ready, man. They're going to think it's just a speckle in history. When they see it, when they look up in the sky and see the whole sky that's flooded with chariots, they're going to think it's a movie Independence Day, not knowing that's the day of their judgment, man. They be holding up flags here saying, we welcome you and all this bullshit like they did in Independence Day. And then they're going to be getting zapped with that fire, man.
Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So, hey, history repeating itself, man. The thing that has been is that which shall be, man. There's no new thing under the sun.
2 Peter 3 and 10. Thing is, all of it's good. I'll start from 9.
Yeah.
It says, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness.
So this is a promise of the Lord, meaning it's going to happen. Whatever the Lord said it's going to happen, it's going to happen, whether it's good or evil, man.
It says that but it's long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, that all should come to repentance. For the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
Yeah, so the elect's being sealed, and then that's why the Lord's long suffering. He's letting this continue because the elect have to be sealed before he brings that judgment. And now that time is fulfilled, he's going to let loose.
Yeah. What about the four angels said to four
Running through
angels?
Euphrates,
Hold back the winds till
Yeah.
you know.
the destruction.
It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
Yeah, no, like you in the book of Luke, there's no man knoweth the time, the day, the hour, except the Heavenly Father himself. No man knoweth the time, man. But we're in that time right now. Why? How do we know? Because of the prophecies, man.
Yeah.
They're signs, man, of the Lord, of the Lord's coming.
And the difference with us though is we switch talks about how should I give a parable, basically about when you basically see the figs. I think it was the figs were about to come. Then you know that it's a certain season, whatever,
Yeah,
what have you,
seasons.
right? And that's what these prophecies allow us to do. Second Ezra 9
says, measure out the time diligently with yourself.
right? So when we're using the prophecies to measure the time, right, we're able to see actually the Lord is coming back. But to these people in the world, right, it's a complete mystery what's going on. Once again, here it is. Even the UN came out and said basically hundreds of millions of people are basically going to be facing a starvation. Yeah, right. Okay. You look at the food price, the energy price, but what are people protesting about? They're not protesting about the price of oil. They're protesting about the ability to kill children. Man.
Right? Women's rights.
So it says, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
The real supernatural, out of this world kind of things are going to be happening. And I was just thinking when you said that as well, even with the story of Egypt and Joseph and the grain, but on a deeper level than that as well, if there's going to be a famine of the word, hey, you got to build the same way Joseph stacked up that grain. You got to stack up this knowledge while it's good to get. It's just a logical thing to do. But you know what? Our people, Jake, are in a very lackadaisical state, man, because the Lord got you with that spirit of blindness. So you're just gonna starve, man, in the spirit, because you're not gonna understand what's going on. There's gonna be so many different things, man, that are going to occur. Like it says in Amos the 5th chapter, when it talks about the day of the Lord being darkness and not light. You have a man blessed from a land in the bed, man. You're gonna see chariots in the sky. You're gonna see beasts in the forest. You're gonna,
Spooky things are going to start happening, man. Spooky things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And these are biblical times, man.
Yeah.
This is prophecy being fulfilled. That's all we're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And, people that are so ignorant, they don't even want to believe that.
Yeah.
But even Alex Jones had to come out and say that, this prophecy is being fulfilled right now. Things that are written up in the scriptures, which is the only book of prophecy on the earth that deals with prophecy coming to pass. The Quran, your Hebrew Negroes, the Book of the Dead, all those other books don't have prophecies in them. They don't deal with prophecies, man. The only prophecies that are dealt with and actually come to pass is in the scriptures, man. Because that's the actual pure word of the Lord.
Yeah.
And these people are not ready for it, man. As I said, atheism skyrocketing right now. So these people are, especially 2/3, they're spiritually dumb, deaf, and blind, man. That's why they're the walking dead. And they're going to be put to death. That's all that's left for them. Because they're spiritually dumb, deaf, and blind, and the Lord's not going to wake them up. He doesn't want them right now. Then 2/3 is going to be put out. 2/3 that's going to be Zechariah 13:8. That's what's going to happen to them, man. So we're concerned about them. We're only concerned with the elect. Because as he was going into, if he was wise and the times that you're in, the scripture says that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and the strength of thy salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, and that's the main ingredient out here that Jake is missing. They don't fear the Lord. That's why they're talking shit, and they think they can just do as thy will type spirit all over the damn place and not get judged, man. That's why Jake is all up in a different, into the drug world and all of this fast life living, and think there's no penalty for their actions, man. They can just do all kind of wickedness, commit adultery, murder, just do all kinds of fuckery, and think there's no judgment for their actions, man. When you're the Lord's people.
Well, even the heathens get judged. You finished with that one?
Okay, it says, but the day of the Lord, 2 Peter 3:10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
So all this is going to be burnt up. All Esau's pride, philosophies, all these standing engraven images, they all going to be burnt up, man. The obelisks, the Statue of Liberty, all that shit, the White House, that's going to be set on fire and turned into rubble, man. That's not going to be standing after the destruction, man. That's why they always got the post-apocalyptic movies. Post-apocalypse is America's going to be totally whacked out, and the earth is going to be refreshed. And there's going to be a new order of people that's ruling the earth, which are known as the Israelites, man. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, starting with the Lord's elect.
The only people, as the scripture says, that are profitable. Like 6 Sirach, the 10th chapter, the Lord said he will set up over the power of the earth one that is profitable. Right? But that is Israel in the new body, right? The new covenant.
That's
right?
the real post-apocalyptic, man. But they never show you that. They will show you post-apocalyptic movies, and America's still basically, people are still alive in America trying to make it back. Nah, mate. Even in the book of Eli, they did that shit, man. People got blinded by the light of the nuclear missiles, you know, like even Eli himself. But that was after the nuclear destruction. There's people still alive in America. America's going to be totally done. After the smoke is cleared, there's only going to be nothing but dolphin creatures, man. Both the creatures, the reptiles living over there in America. Ain't going to be no human inhabitants looking through the lands of America. Man. It's going to be uninhabitable. Because all of the toxins, the wormwood, and all of that. Man. It's going to be, that land is going to be totally defiled, totally poisonous. Like a big, it's like going to be like a big mud of radiation, man. You aren't even going to be able to walk on the land or breathe the air.
This is Daniel's the 5th chapter, verse 2. Belshazzar, whilst tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives and his concubines might drink therein, having a party with the Lord's sacred ornaments. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of the Lord, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver and of brass, of iron, of wood and stone. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and rolled over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that his joints were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. But I just read all of that to pretty much bring out the point. I looked it up. Belshazzar's palace, where it was in ancient Babylon, modern day Iraq. Now we've got right next to where it was an American military base. Look at that, like all of that great glamour that he had, and really only brothers in the truth know about him. You ask a common man or someone that's a common Christian about Belshazzar, they're not gonna know nothing about him, because the Lord basically brought him down so low, and then very next day took his kingdom down to a point where his legacy has been pretty much, for the most part, rubbed out of society. No one knows.
How does that relate to today? The writings on the wall, again, for America, which is Babylon 2.0, the daughter of Babylon. So now the writings on the wall for this place, so that destruction is coming, man.
If I can say as well, in a similar vein of how Belshazzar was taking the Lord's holy things and desecrating them, that's what Esau's doing right now. For instance, we mentioned the rainbow, right? That is something that was holy unto the Lord. Esau has taken that and desecrated it, right? Which are, basically, that's why the Lord is going to do the same thing that he did to Belshazzar, take him down. Well, the word itself, they've actually got a version of the Bible for the alphabet people, man. That's alphabet people friendly. So, the scripture says, you add onto the word, you shall add unto yourself the plagues that are written in the book. That's the complete abomination. You're going to take, they scrubbed out in Leviticus 20.
Taken away from the scripture. This place is destined for destruction. It's just there's a ticking time bomb. It's just waiting to go off. That's why they got the destruction clock, the doomsday clock. It's 100 seconds to midnight, man.
Yep.
This place is destined for destruction. There's no healing for this place, man. There's no going backwards.
It's Psalm 50 and 16. But unto the wicked the Most High said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and cast my word behind thee? Right?
So these devils have the capability to do righteous, man. If they were to do righteous, these Edomite devils are all about saving money and trying to, companies can make record profits and they'll still be firing people. The law at the end of the day is not grievous. Man. You're supposed to literally be able to live. Like if you follow the law, you could be a poor man and still survive in society, and you still
live. You can still live.
Get
clean off the grapes and all that.
Yep.
The poor man will still be able to eat a day's bread, get his daily bread and all that. You won't be just there homeless, starving on the road like you got people in this society now. There ain't no grapes, there ain't no cluster of grapes, so people can just grab and eat off the damn, eat on the roads. People out here sleeping on the damn concrete, starving to death, man. Literally, man. Cold conditions and all of that, man. Fucked up weathers. At least you ain't taking care of them, man.
He's even making it such that certain benches now are designed in such a way that you can't sleep on them, specifically to make people that are homeless not be able to sleep on them, man. That's why you see back in the day you just have the plain bench, but now they got the gap there, the bars in between, or some little windows that people might have normally before slept and they'll have like little bumps on them so people can't sleep there. This man's a devil. He goes out of his way to grind you to the dirt. When the scripture tells you that the basic things, shelter, raiment, etc., for a man survival.
Scripture says he takes the right away from the poor, man. This white man is the ultimate devil, man. It's gonna get worse, man. He ain't even revealed these warnings, man. It's gonna get worse. Biden's telling you, man. Like things that people are out here gonna be starving. The UN's been saying it. These devils are really gonna starve people out, man. They don't care how many drop dead. They need
more the merrier.
They need the numbers to be high. Mortality rates to be high.
Which once again, understanding the Georgia guys,
So understanding the nature of this man, we know furthermore that's why this whole Roe Wade thing is just political distraction. Because actually Esau wants you to kill them babies. Right? He wants people not to be especially Israelite babies. Right? He wants people to not be procreating, man. Right? Because he is as what? He is as death and cannot be satisfied.
At the same time, he passed 2 gun control laws, man. So it's really a big distraction, man. You people are so fucking hypnotized by this devil and the bread and circuses. You can't see what the fuck is real, what's fake, man.
Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
People ain't rejoicing.
People are definitely not rejoicing. Animals ain't even rejoicing, man. Animals are rebelling against these devils. You got M. Bison and all that attacking crackers, You got all kind of animals. You talk about the sharks and all that.
You got an Edomite, you go to a family resort, which is supposed to be a safe space, and then the shark bit off 2 of his limbs and he died.
Jaws, man. All day, man. On that nigga, man. That means that Lord timed that death, that destruction for that fucking Edomite devil, man. He thought everything was sweet. And then he went over there, tried to go surfing. Calabunga, dude, and all that. The Lord made that shot jump out of that water, man. He was a great white.
You know how these kids are, they're always like poking.
You ain't gonna poke the shark. You was probably in that water just thinking, I'm here, I'm chilling. Probably Snapchatting and all that. Probably Snapchatting and doing some TikToking in the water. Calabunga, dude, and all that. And then the Lord made a great white that's up out of that water. Up on his ass, man.
The thing is as well, like I remember hearing, I don't know whether it's the bull sharks, but there are certain sharks that actually only eat seals, right? But then the shape of the people that are swimming near them, sometimes they mistake it for a seal, innit? And they pass, oh shit, so that's really the Lord.
The Lord's terrible, man. He has creatures created for vengeance. The Lord is terrible.
Oh, I will create 4 kinds, Jeremiah will create 4 kinds.
But, wild beasts, all of that. Those are the Lord's creations. So the Lord can use all of that to his disposal because he created it. And the Lord still has Leviathan in the water. Don't forget about Leviathan. He's the great sea monster, man. The sea serpent of the waters, man. And he's out there in them oceans waiting to be fucking reactivated, man. He's gonna show. He's gonna raise head in these last days as well. Tear Esau's asses up.
So the point that you read, I've got this real quick. Signs of the decaying in society from the Daily Herald. Number 1, the art of becoming freakish and sensationalist instead of creative and original. A widened disparity, number 2, between the rich and the poor.
And if I could say, there's a great documentary on YouTube, it's still there, called The Four Horsemen, right? And that first bit goes into this about how certain things are indicative of a society, right, says one of the things that's highlighted is the sports stars get paid too much, right? Your chefs get paid too much. That's why you have your Michelin star chefs that are, your Gordon Ramsay, man's living large, right? And these things and the other, right? But then the key thing is an over obsession with sex. Well, that's what you're saying. You got this whole big thing now where every chick wants to be on OnlyFans, right? The way everyone dresses, you're showing way too much of your body, right?
And OnlyFans is part of their resume. You have to put that in your resume saying that you got OnlyFans account. That's not part of your profile.
So, yeah, how many subscribers do you have?
Yeah, literally, man. There's certain applications they actually ask you ask you for your Google account. You know that they want to know your Facebook account. They want to know how many people you got in your, that are subscribing to you and all that shit. What you're into. They want to know everything about you, man. They won't be surprised, man. They just put OnlyFans in their fucking resumes, man. These hoes actually put that's part of the curriculum, man. You ask any bitch, man. You ask any bitch, man. She's got a TikTok, she's got Snapchat, Instagram, and then she's got to have her OnlyFans.
Oh, that Instagram is basically OnlyFans life. Yeah, for a lot of these bitches, you see how they are. They'll tease in such a way you can basically you see how they dress, the gym shorts, whatever. You can see what's that thing called the camel toe, right? Leaving nothing to the imagination. Yeah, that IG is basically OnlyFans life. Yeah. Point 3 is
free advertising.
Point 3 is an increased demand to live off the state, aka the grid. Concern with displaying affluence instead of building wealth, which is the majority of these people anyway, an obsession with sex and perversions of sex. And that's exactly what's going on right now today. They're marching for a perversion of sex. When the Lord created the acts of sex, he even went in the book of Leviticus. Not only does it not say man on man is off, it gives you all of the variations of man with 2 sisters, man with his aunts. It tells you very plainly. It's not hard to understand. But this devil will be like, takes that. It's like taking a car manual and saying, fuck that, I'm gonna run it how I'm gonna run it. That's why this man is gonna ultimately be destroyed, because this man right now. You got 5 marches in the key major cities of America. LA and New York, of course, have one. Kentucky, Florida, and somewhere else, man. Because this man is literally taking wickedness and just accentuating it, man, everywhere.
Exactly.
Romans 1:26, for this cause the Most High gave them up unto vile affection, right? Which those works of them deeds, that's a vile affection, man. Right? That ain't right. Okay. Says, for even the women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
And the person we're going into it as well. The average so-called black woman goes every direction. Animals, other women, incest, everything. They're into whatever it takes.
Well, nowadays you talk to any chick, they'll say, "Oh yeah, no, I've tried it with girls, whatever. I've tried." It's just something to try.
It's just something to try,
right? There's no limit. Says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, right, burned in their lust, right? Which, if I'm not mistaken, sodomy that word sodomy goes back into burning, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly.
So he's doing the same shit back in Greco-Rome, man. He was doing the same wickedness, man. And that's why the Lord goes into the Israelite foreigners. Back then it was the Hellenization. You had to partake in those wicked acts of that society back then. Now that's the same society is here in the reincarnation is America, Babylon the Great, Rome 2.0, the Greco-Roman Empire all over again. And this time Jake's been westernized, man. So they're parlaying in the same wicked act. And you got the prophets out here cursing their asses out, trying to rebuke them to get right and repent, man. And the only ones that are going to repent and come out of that is the elect.
Yeah.
The rest that are going to, carry on, they're going to be blinded to their death. That's why the Lord had that monkeypox situation come out. And who was getting mainly affected? The soddies, the flamers, man, the booty bandits. They're the ones that were getting hit up the most. Because that was a plague unto them, man. For doing them vile, wicked acts, man.
I got the etymology of I can't say the word, trans, and it's going across, beyond, on the other side of, from the Latin verb trare, meaning to cross, when the Heavenly Father created man and woman in Genesis, it says, "Let us create man in our firstly and foremost, because the woman came off the man, but let us create man in our image." The Lord created woman out of man. But then you're trying to literally transcend the Most High's creation. You're trying like these devils, because at the end of the day, the scripture also says that they're wiser than Daniel. They understand the depth of the Most High's creation, the basic science, the X and Y chromosome, the double X, and you're still trying to fuck with it somehow,
trying to manipulate shit, man. That's why you're always messing with the gene splicing and all that. Things that you're not supposed to do. Frankenstein's science and all that. Things that are against the scriptures, man.
He's trying to bid himself as being the most high.
Yeah, with your damn technology. That's why the Lord won't take that power away from you, man. Because you're the mad scientist of the earth. You conspire to think of a way how you can actually cut off a man's rod and he can still breathe and still be living. I put a plastic vagina in there and make him feel like he's a woman, even though he was born a man.
It's fucked because, and this is going back to maybe what 6 years ago now, 7 years ago that I read this bit of information. Basically, and you know how it is. The reason why I say 7 years ago, because Esau's technology moves quick, right? 7 years ago, they basically said only a gynecologist, i.e., a doctor, right? That is his daily job is looking at vaginas.
That's what
They said,
does.
yeah, he's basically all saying that a gynecologist is now the only person that is able to tell to differentiate between a real vagina and a T vagina, right? So, and that's where just having faith in the Most High is important, man, for that protection, right? Because you look at something, right, thinking it's a broad, and it's a fucking dude, man. Right? That's why, hey, one of the things the apostles keep saying, hey, it's like, we're men, so we burn. So just said, if you burn, it's better to marry, right? But
what is marriage, though? That's where you have to define what real marriage is. Marriage is sex between a man and a woman.
That's it.
A man and a man cannot have sex. A woman and a woman cannot have sex. They cannot mate together. They cannot bring forth life. Therefore, what the fuck is that? That's an inordinate act. That's an abominable act, man. That's not real. That's not a real marriage, man. But Esau trying to legalize man marrying man, woman marrying woman. Madness, man. But that's not real marriage. Marriage is when two become one. And that act can only be happened between a man putting his rod inside of a woman's vagina.
Oh, and the apostle with bar, he was just going into it even further. It was like, really, that's only ever you only ever what you call it, have sex with a woman once when you break that hymen.
Yeah, that's why she's supposed to be yours after that.
Exactly.
Because you broke that, man. You busted that nut. You busted. What's that? The cherry. You busted the cherry. So that belongs to you. Really. That's why because you basically planted yourself in it.
Yeah, but hey, what?
In the ancient world, it would have been mine, but in this world, it's ours. Because it's like
30, 40. You don't even know how many other dudes before you that these nasty.
You'd be lucky to find a virgin nowadays. Even if you don't find a virgin, they be giving head and all that. They be giving head, blowing niggas and all that shit. So
fingered.
they getting fingered and all that. So they really the virgins out here ain't even wrong virgins.
And sluts. Worse, Esau's been all up in. And that's the worst thing about it. Easily, because you be with a chick, let's say she is a virgin, but then she'll be throwing some feminist.
She's a virgin, but she lies with girls.
Yeah.
Licking the muff of other women. You're a virgin. You ain't been penetrated by a man. So you defiled yourself.
messed up.
Continuing on, says, and likewise also the Romans 1:27, and likewise also the men leaving the natural use of the woman.
The natural use. The Lord made man to be with a woman. Not the total opposites, man. Not the man being with man or woman lying with woman. The Lord, that's the natural use. The man being with a woman. And they was going against that back then in Rome. This is why the book's called the Romans, man. There was Israelites that was living in Rome doing all this wickedness, man. So they weren't written to no damn Edomites, man. The Lord wasn't trying to convert no fucking Edomite devils to come into this faith, man. Because they're not part of this. They're not part of the covenants of the Lord. It's Israel that was going off. Because we were scattered amongst these nations, man. Israel was, doing what the other nations was doing. They was eating the defiled foods that the other nations was eating. They was eating swine's flesh, all of that shit, man. Eating wild boar, or eating all kinds of shit that they're not supposed to be doing.
That's why in Deuteronomy 32:8, what does the scripture say? Which says, when I separated the nation, Because that's just basically what Israel would do each time they got merged around the nation. They started learning the way they eat. Scripture says that Jeremiah 10 learn not the way they eat, right? But that's why we're supposed to be separate, right?
Yeah. What's supposed to separate us? Deuteronomy, man, 4 and 8.
Yeah.
This word, the law, statutes, and judgments, man. That was supposed to be our wisdom in the sight of the nations.
Yeah.
To distinguish how you're supposed to be and how you're not supposed to be, man.
That's
You ain't supposed to be laying with animals. A man's not supposed to be laying with another man. That's not righteousness, man. That's wickedness. That brings forth disease. Vermin, man.
you ain't supposed to be eating anything and everything.
Yeah. Just because it crawls and it moves, don't mean you can put it on a plate and eat it. Now every other day you watch these foodie programs, there's all kind of seafood creatures, crabs, lobsters, and all that. And the majority of the people that's eating is a nigger woman, man. They're just there golfing the shit, man. Watching one video on these women engulfing the seafood platter with just bare crab, lobster, all these scallops, crayfish, all this shit that you're not supposed to eat. Ain't one lawful fish on that dish, man. No snapper, no nothing, man. No tilapia, no sardine, no tuna, nothing lawful. There's all the abominations of the sea, you know, and they go all on one plate, and they're just engulfing the shit, cracking shells, sucking juice out. That shit is nasty, man. You're paying all kinds of money for that shit. Wasting money, man.
That's why our people are always perpetually sick with gout and all of these different
And
types
these
of
women
disease.
stink as well.
Yeah, man, because when you read Exodus, the first chapter and the 9th verse, before we went into captivity in Egypt, the Egyptians were shook of our people, man. The Pharaoh that knew not Joseph said that, hey, the Israelites are mightier than we, they're stronger people than us. Because when you think about it logically, the Lord gave us a dietary meal. You're eating the shit that your body is supposed to take. You're resting the way your body was designed to rest. You're doing the things that your body was supposed to do to give it the maximum optimacy, man. Whereas the heathens, the Egyptians were known for incest. So when they come out all kind of fucked up, weak bones, weak eyes. Look at Amalek, you know, because we're following the Lord's instruction, man. It was the same way. Like if you fucking take a vehicle, and sorry to use a simple thing, but you know, you gotta use a simple example. You take a petrol vehicle with diesel and the shit, the engine breaks down, man. You look after the wall, you do the MOT regularly, you follow the manual. It's gonna last you a lifetime. The same with your body, and ultimately, you know, that's why we get sick, man.
And ultimately, what does that breed? Sin, right? Because sin
kills you. That's why in the kingdom we ain't gonna ever sin again, right? And that's gonna be how we're gonna live forever.
Legally, you like to say it goes, but you are what you eat. You eating all this defiled food. You're gonna act like a damn. You're gonna turn into. You're gonna start looking like the damn pig. You're eating swine all day. You're gonna start looking like a damn fucking swine. You're gonna start looking like a damn pig. All the shit that you're eating, and then your mind's not gonna be clear. You're gonna have all these defiled thoughts as well, and then demons is gonna be jumping on your ass left, right, and center, man.
Look at Moab.
You know?
They got you see certain Moabites that have that literally have a pork face.
You know, you got a defiled spirit, and then the nigga woman got them fatty, flappy arms. They look like pig loins, man. And their face starts getting more chubby, and you start looking like an actual fucking pig.
Yeah.
And then you got the rhino hips and the rhino feet and all that shit. You know. You wonder why you're sick all the damn time, man. Because your diet's all fucked up, man.
Yep.
Your body's out of balance, man.
So back in Romans 1 and 27, and likewise also the men leaving the natural use of woman,
burning their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves
that recompense of their error which was meat. And
Yeah,
even
so you get STIs, man. You get sexual infections. You're doing shit you're not supposed to be doing, man. That's why you get herpes and gonorrhea, all these things spreading. You get cold sores and all that. You're doing shit you're not supposed to be doing, man. Eating arse and eating vagina. Hell no, man. What the fuck are you doing, man? Then you wonder why you're sick. You have to go to the clinic every time of a month, man, to get checkups, man. Because you're partaking in wickedness, man.
says, and even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when you was like secondary school, man. And you always knew when a nigga was munching on like vagina, because you come to school next day with a fucking cold sore, and then you curse his ass out. Like, you've been eating fucking vagina, man. Why you got a cold sore on your lip? Then you'll try and lie and deny it. Like, no, man, I ain't doing that. Bro, why you got a cold sore on your lip? That's a recompense for you going down there in a woman's mouth, man. Your head's not supposed to be down there like that. You end up having a fucking mouth, what's it called? No, they call it something disease. Oral disease. A mouth disease, basically. You might have gonorrhea on your tongue or something. You have a cold sore and it's all sore and all that. Because you're doing shit that you're not supposed to be doing. That's just when we was in secondary school. We used to make mockery of Jakes that was doing that, man. So that was a sign back then that you ain't supposed to partake in certain acts, sexual acts, man.
Oh, cool. Yeah, good one. It was just pretty much on the point I mentioned about the diet. Yeah. Like, for example, with 1 Timothy 5:23, drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake, and then often infirmity. You're not gonna find information like that in the fucking Quran. What you're gonna find is bullshit information, but then
So won't even tell you that.
yeah, you know,
Physicians are no value. They won't tell you to give you tablets, man. They won't tell you that. Drink some strong drink that will help you with your ailment.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna tell you that.
Yeah. Even look at this, Proverbs 25:27. It is not good to eat much honey. So for men to search their own glory is not it's not glory. But
And
you
that's
read that.
twofold. That's talking about spiritual honey. Which is this word. You overindulge yourself and you become more fucking proud as well. Because that novice type spirit that tells you, being proud. Because you had too much honey, man. That's twofold. And physically as well. Too much of anything is not good for you, man. Even if you drink too much water, you can hydrate yourself and drop dead, man. You can overindulge, man. That's why the Lord said to do everything in moderation. You can drink alcohol, but don't overdo it. Drink in moderation so you don't fuck up your bladder, man, and your liver and all that. A certain man just drink to the point of no return, man. Then your bladder and all that is all done, shrivels up and all that, man. And it's not working no more. You're overindulging. You didn't do it moderately, man. You're supposed to do shit in measure. Everything is made for certain things, and the Lord lets you do certain things that are lawful. But you do it in measure, man. You've got to be temperate in all things. Discipline, man. Balanced. Just because the Lord said you can do something, don't mean you can run it into the ground. That's why the Lord had to get rid of the sacrifices, man. Because Jake was running that shit into the ground. He make a sin offering, and then Jake would, commit sin straight after, and then have to do another sin offering and run that shit into the ground. That's why the Lord said, look, away with your sin offerings, man. He ain't dealing with that no more. He got rid of that. The Jake know how to just, the Lord will give you an inch, you take them out. So that goes with the diet and all of that, man. Moderation, man. Like the brothers have been saying, fuck that Babylonian diet. Get into the Hebrew Israelite diet, biblical diet. We're eating more greens, more like a Mediterranean, more salads, more greens, veggies, less red meat, man. Less carbs and all that shit.
Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
I'm not just saying it for the camera, I'm saying it for ourselves as well. Because we like to eat fast food and all that. But that's not the best way to maintain yourself, man. Because you end up in the long run getting sick all the damn time. So what's the best way to go? Just go healthy for a while, man. Do the best that you can do, man, with all the resources that you can get. Just try and eat more healthy, cook more and all that, man. It's all that fast food and shit. That's what it's called, fast food. It leads to a fast death. Heart troubles and all that.
Also better quality of alcohol as well.
Yeah, man.
I remember Apostle Tahar saying one time, it was like, yeah, man, I'll be drinking.
I ain't drinking none of that cheap shit, and it's true. When you start drinking better alcohol, you actually can feel it. Like the next day you're not waking up like all fucked up and shit. Because especially a lot of alcohol, like will have like wine, especially a lot of will have like sulfites in it. All kinds of shit, man. So yeah, it's very, very much a thing. Because when you were saying that, hey, this week, man, I ain't eating good, man. But this is the thing. It's this
You have your moments, man.
Yeah.
You just have to try and eat as best as possible.
That's it.
Everything's defiled anyway. They showed a video Robert put up on his channel. It was on a month, and he was showing a video he saw wherever it was in the world, and it was painting fish with red paint, man, and calling it snapper. It was dyeing it, man. It wasn't even red snapper, but it was painting it with whatever the red shit was, with blood. Poor man, no. They were dyeing it and then pushing it aside and they're selling it on the streets as if it's red snapper. So everything out here is defiled anyway. We just got to do the best and the worst. Look on the back of the tin cans and look at the ingredients. You saw me poisoning everything. You be defiling even more things.
This is Sirach 38 from 4. All right, it says the Lord.
I'll bring it to it. Verse 3, the first two. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him
For the uses which he may have of it, the Lord hath created it. And reason for that as well.
well. The herbs get deep, man. Right? You know, certain herbs are supposed to be taken, you know, on top of your skin. So I think that the word, the technical term for that is topically. Right? Certain herbs are to be ingested. Certain herbs are to be taken with this or with that. Certain herbs, what you call it, are supposed to, you have to put in the littlest amounts. If you overdo it, you basically do damage, right?
I can't say that to Jake. Jake will take herbs and put it in a roach and smoke it, man. That's how stupid Jake is, man.
True. And even on the intake of the only possible way to do that is through your oral tract, which shows you again that you're not supposed to be taking medicine through like needles.
Yeah, that's you can't inject your body.
Yeah.
That's against the law.
But you got barriers, man. That's why you got your throat got barriers that that's why you got the sense of taste. Because ultimately speaking, there's some things that don't taste nice that are good for you, but for the most part, you taste that something and your body is trying to reject it because it's likely to be something that's not good for yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
And all things that don't taste nice are really the ones that benefit you the most.
Yeah.
That's the fact. You know?
And
So
then,
Jake ain't gonna do that. Jake gonna want sweetness. That's the ones that kill you in the long run. Man.
so then you got what do you call? I think it's I forget where it is, but basically I forget the technical term. But then your mouth is basically like from what I was reading, it's what kicks off your whole immune system response, right? Because it's feeling up. It's like, okay, what's this? Do we need to do anything about this? Okay, cool, no, it's good. Let it pass, or whatever, what have you, or, you know, things like that. Right?
Yeah, your body has its own
Defense system.
yeah, own defense. Yeah, it's own physiotherapy type of thing. You know, like it can heal itself and all of that shit. It can sense certain things straight away. It can sense foreign bodies, and then that's why your immune system, your red blood cells, white blood cells, try and fight against any foreign bodies that come in there. Because it's got its own medical setup. The Lord made the body to be its own healer. Yeah, man, perfect, man.
Yeah, so
Even if you break bones, the shit will grow stronger. Like the Lord made the body to be perfect, but where this shows shades of darkness because these bodies are not the bodies we're going to inherit for the kingdom.
Yeah. Imagine all we have to do is eat right, and then you've got a system that is basically self-replicate, not self-replicate, it's a man and a woman, but basically replicate with each other. That can go on for us and the kingdom that's going to go on forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Man could be in his 70s and still busting up and bring forth seed. In the kingdom, we're going to be living for 1,000 years, still looking young as fuck.
Yeah.
That's why you got that song "Forever Young" by Jay-Z, the other fella, because that resonated with Jake. Because who doesn't want to live forever, man?
That's it. Yeah.
Forever, forever.
And especially, and that's it. I was saying, it's especially as it's going to be all of us, all Israel, doing great. And like I said, you might learn one instrument, but perfect one note. For 100 years.
Do what David did. Do what David did. Start messing with the heart and all of that. Yeah, in your own time, man, in your own leisure. But who doesn't want to live forever? That's an Israelite trait. That's why Jake resonated with that song.
Yeah.
Forever. Because that's what Jake want to be. We want to live forever, man. The only ones that don't want to live forever is these heathens, man. But Esau knows about trying to live forever. That's why he's trying to find every which way possible through his science and technology to find the elixir of life. But he wants to do it carnally, but he doesn't understand it. You can't get that carnally. The only way you're going to be able to live forever is if the Lord sanctions it, man. He gives the life expectancy and life and death. At the time of Adam, it was 1,000 years. Then the Lord cut it to 120, something like that. Then he cut it to 70. 70. Yeah. So the Lord's the one that, makes lifespan, creates lifespan. The issues of life and death are in the hands of the Lord. So it doesn't matter what Esau does. He's never going to find the elixir of life. Because the Lord can change a man's body and make you immortal just like that. Esau would have to do all kinds of genetic and all this shit. Yeah. Get all kinds of tubes and injections, put you up into all these damn machines, and try and, you know, do a Frankenstein thing.
Upload you to the cloud.
When the shit still won't work, man. It worked for like a split second,
Yeah.
then the shit will just explode.
That's it. This is Ecclesiastes 8:8. It says, "There is no man that hath power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither hath he power in the day of death, and there is no discharge in that war, neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it."
Yeah, man. So that's been the power of the Lord. Even the Lord overcame death because he was resurrected. Esau thought, oh yeah, we're gonna crucify him, he's done. Not knowing that the Lord told their dumbasses in 3 days I'm gonna rise up again. You know, and he didn't understand what he was telling them. He was saying that basically he's gonna cheat death. He's gonna overcome death. And that's what the Lord did. He's reigning on the right hand side of the Father. And really he's always been here since the beginning of time, man. So he's always been immortal, really. He was the first spirit created. He just came down on the earth in earthly fashion, even as Melchizedek, he came down as the priest that never had a mother or father. He just came down in a body and then went back up to the heavens, man. Not being born of a woman or a man. He just came down fully formed, and he was the priest that around Abraham's time, you know. So that's the power of the Lord. Esau ain't got that kind of power. That's above his pay grade, man. But this little technology that this devil's got, and look how he's destroyed the earth already, man. He's run the earth into the ground. He's polluting everything, man. Polluting the water, the air, everything, man. Polluting the food that we eat. With his little technology, the little blessing that the Lord gave him, and the power of the sword. And we're gonna have all that power times 10, man. In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna be actual gods, man. Like, we're gonna be able to fly in the sky and shit, manipulate the elements, move mountains if we want to, you know. We're gonna be able to do things these devils only writing a Hollywood script, man, and putting CGI. We're gonna be able to actually do these things. The Lord did these things. He made water into wine. Esau's still trying to figure out how he done that. Man. He's trying to do the maths and all that. X equals and, you know, he's trying to figure out how the Lord turned water into wine still, man. Or how he walked on water.
And the best one of that.
Best of the best. That's the same wine we're gonna be drinking with the Lord in the kingdom, man. He's gonna make that fresh bottle of Yayan, man. And everyone's gonna drink that.
Yeah.
That means that's gonna be a couple bottles of them. It's 144,000. That means it's gonna be more than enough for that Yayan for us to drink, man.
Finest dessert. Yeah,
Finest.
yeah, because literally been reserved.
We ain't gonna be like the king that was moaning, saying, "Oh, you made this wine, you didn't even tell me about it in the party with his mama and all that." So this is the finest of the finest.
Why are you leaving it to that?
Why didn't tell me about this? You know, everyone's gonna be drinking that wine. Left anyway. We're gonna be getting saucy, man, with the Lord, man.
It's Acts 1:9, 1:8. Salakia. It says, "But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost has come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea
And in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth."
So we're witnesses right now. We're witnesses of this truth manifesting in the physical right now. You know, the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. Man. So he's got the prophets out here prophesying, man. And we gonna get the kingdom, man. Those will be part of the hopeful elect. We those same men, we're gonna get the kingdom, man. And we're gonna rejoice when the Lord returns to take this place down. That's why we're hastening the day. We're heralding the day of the Lord, like witnesses, when the second coming of the Lord, man. We want the Lord to come back and destroy this place. We don't care how dark it gets, man. We want the Lord to tear this place up, man. Because we're fucking sick and tired of this place. Look what's going on, man. You don't even know if you're dating a man or a woman no more, man. You don't even know if you can even have you can be with a woman and she can even bring forth seed. Some of these bitches can't even, they've been so many times to the clinic, they can't even bring forth seed anymore, man.
Well, a big issue, you know, rather, I don't want to say it big, but an issue that is becoming more and more manifest. So, no, Prophet E, you know, he just came out and said it himself. So, I'm also, so you've observed it as well. Because these bitches have been on the pill for so damn long. Their reproductive system has been all messed up. And it makes sense why it's messed up. You know, had a period in fucking 6 years.
And a lot of these stupid heifers, they took the jump shot. And that made them sterile as fuck as well.
Yeah.
So if you even get with a bitch, and you might want to, you know, after a while, you might want to bust them out. You can't have no kids, man. Wow. This place is totally fucked, man. This place is totally fucked. We need out, man. We want out. We pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh to destroy this place and get us out of this fucking hellhole, man. Because this is hell, man. This ain't living, man.
This is Isaiah the 24th chapter, verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Because look at this, like we're in a forest right now, and then even with the trees, you got it to where we've been through spring, we're now in summer. All of these trees should have full-on leaves. They should all be like literally fully bloomed. It's but with the trees after spring and what should be summer in the second day of July, and these trees look like what they expect to look like in winter. Barely any leaves, barely any covering. Like if you was to, like some brothers from the west coast of Africa, so called, and ultimately, like different regions of the world, it goes to somewhere like the Amazon, where he saw certain parts that he saw in Big, so even he's fucking discovered it, because he's fucking it up. The trees there are actually fully. It could rain in the Amazon, and there's enough leaf coverage to protect you where you hear it, but wouldn't be able to feel it. But look at this, you can see, like, in the forest we're in, all of the trees in the west are withering away, because the nature is withering away, because this man's building roads, he's fucking,
in the air.
polluting the air.
That's why it says in Isaiah the 13th chapter, which is twofold, but it says the cedars, right, will basically rejoice, saying no fellow has come upon us.
Yeah.
Right, because even as you look, you see some of the branches of the cut.
Yeah, look at that, the whole stump just there.
The cedars in Lebanon, man. That's like some of the best wood and all that, build houses with cedars in Lebanon. We gonna get all that wood back, and when the heavens re-established on earth, we gonna get the best of the best, and everything's gonna be replenished and yield its full strength. It's only now, that the land is basically barren, like your brother was saying, the trees look withered away, they look like they're just dying and shit. They're suffering, man, because the wicked is ruling the earth. So they're under that wicked vibration too.
Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
So even as it says, the trees are going to rejoice, man. I mean, they're going to fully bud and all that. Everything's going to yield its full strength by that.
Yeah, so I was going to say, the spirit which is in this man is not upright, right? So as a lot of the things that we've been speaking about is being pushed by this devil E, because he is not upright. For instance, a right, he's unjust. A man who has a right, a spirit that's more correct is gonna, be wanting to have more children, or because that's the strength of an empire, right? What did the these different ancient armies boast about the size of their empire? So they bred what? Strong men, right? That was what it was about. Even in in the ancient wars, they would freak out. Right, not just, but they'd freak out, but they would at least understand that, okay, freak out, but make sure you have children, right? But in this kingdom, it's just just don't have any children, don't be fruitful, right? That's basically what it's pushed here.
It's about depopulation.
Depopulation, yeah, to want to kill basically 7.5 billion people for the lows, right? Your spirit ain't right, man, right? Because you think that there isn't enough space, but there's more than enough space for everyone.
The earth was made to be occupied by men. That's it. And females, man. That's what the earth was made for, to be occupied. It wasn't made to be uninhabited. This big ass earth that the Lord created, man. There's so much land on this earth. So much. It's not unlike even in America, the certain states, they ain't even fucking touched, man.
Yeah.
It's basically dry ass land.
Yeah. Hey, look at whenever you see how they depict the Kent farm in Superman. Right, you just have the little house there and just fields for days, acres, right? Same with when you drive between, like, let's say you're driving up north, it's even easier on the north, and you just look around, all you've seen is greenery, right? But the way Esau designs these systems, he designs these grids where you will have basically was a tenth of the population of the UK is in London, in 25-mile diameter space, man.
Makes a melting pot. Basically brings everyone into that melting. Squashes everyone in.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's fighting for space.
To help push his agenda abroad.
Right, because once again, always give the example, if we're going to read it with us, right? We always give the example of how you may have an aunt back home, right? And so-called back home, you say,
Aquarius. And they won't be about certain things like what's that word, divorce, right? Whereas back there, it's mainly a thing of look, man, you stick with your husband, stick with your wife. But that's what the army over here in the UK in London is going to say. Don't stand for that. You can get a divorce. He has done you wrong. That westernization. That's why it's so eager for people to come here, so that they export the doctrines of the West to the people that then the family that they have back home.
And that's why 75% of Christians come from the women.
80% of the that's part of the Western way of living. They don't want you to stick to your natural traditions of people. They want you to follow their way. Just basically the degeneracy.
Yeah. And that's it goes back to Eve and the serpent once again. Right? Because that's why feminism is one of the most important things to Esau's agenda. Right? Because it was that same thing happening all over again. And that's why the scripture says, you be all die.
Yeah. If I can say anything to this, but like a woman's appetite is unsatiable. Because look at that, Adam and Eve were in the garden. They had pretty much, they were in paradise. Life is good, you know. But then what did Eve? Eve wanted more. That's that saying of the woman is never happy. It's factual, bro. Because these women, look at some of the most, they're weak, but the most powerful men in this society, and their women disrespect them. Jake, the heathen also, because the woman's case is unsatiable. That's what the scripture says. Give not a woman liberty to gather broad, right? Because you give a woman an opportunity to see that 6 Susan's wife can go on 6 holidays and she goes on 5. It's an issue. Why is it?
You know, bitches get together. There's cool in the household. You know, that's another. We're just going back to the North. That's why the North separated the nations, man. They gave them their own lands so they can do their own thing. Esau said, "Fuck that! I'm gonna create a metropolis and let's put everyone in there, children and fucking people, squash them in there, and make them kill it, basically run each other into the ground. Yeah, kill each other for the one fucking space and shit."
Yeah. I've got a very quick one on the point that we just made, and I'll get back to other people. Proverbs 31:3: Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
That's what happened to Samson, man.
Yeah.
What happened to Samson because he trusted in the woman. Lost his power, man. Got his hair torn from him, and he lost his power because he trusted in that damn heifer, Delilah, man. You know? These women are dangerous, man. They're like scorpions, man.
Yeah.
They're beautiful to look at, but they're very dangerous too. Especially if she's a schooled woman. If she's a schooled woman, forget about it. She gonna try and cut your rod off when you're sleeping, pour boiling water on you or something, or cut up your clothes, slice up your car tires.
Yeah.
These bitches are, when it comes to wickedness, these bitches are, very eventful, man.
Yeah. Fury like a woman's.
Very good. They might spike your food with some shit. Have you thinking you're eating a hot cooked meal, and they spike it with fucking type of poison or put blood in it or some shit like that, you know?
You got them women back home that do that judge.
They're judge, bro. Yeah. That's why you gotta stay away from these black heifers as well. They're the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
These black women, they're out here basically claiming witchcraft now. They're just pushing that shit, saying, yeah, we're on this witchcraft thing. They're all up into stones and all this, putting stones all over your body, saying, yeah, pray on this and all that. And they just do it. They don't think about they're doing wickedness on it. They just get a pack of cards and start reading shit. They don't think about whether they're disobeying the Heavenly Father. They don't think on that level, man. These women just do things for the sake of doing it because it feels good. Oh, the stones look nice. Let's just do that. Get tarot cards and start reading shit. But that's against the laws, man. That's witchcraft. You ain't supposed to be doing that. That's that monthly prostitution and shit like that. All the foretelling the future, witchcraft, man. That's high levels of witchcraft. But these women are, they're engulfed in that. They love all that. That's why you have to be wary of these women, man. Especially these so-called high established women in society. Like, the more high up the totem pole you are, the more wicked you have to be. These women, especially them suit and tie bitches, they're into the high levels of witchcraft, man. You might not see it on the day-to-day, but behind closed doors, they're doing all kinds of shit, man. All kinds of hymns and prayers to Satan, man. Like Tina Turner and shit.
Even on a low level, they will kill your kids.
It's
They
mainly
ain't got no
the,
mercy. They ain't got no mercy in your seed. How much more they gonna do? They don't even care about killing your seed. Then they want to scream, "It's my body, my choice, murdering your own child." What about his choice or her choice, man?
just once again, that's a statement, just look, straight up with.
Yes, basically, goes back to the ritual of passing the children to Molech, man, and sacrificing the youth.
Earlier on, we will speak about balance, like how false balance and abomination to the Lord, right? Because even as a man, hey, let's say you want to drink. Guess what? It's your body. You can drink however much you want. Cool. But guess what? You'll die. So no, you can't. So, yeah.
Exactly, you've got all the consequences of your actions. And actually, it ain't
Our body, so not our body, because what Scripture says, they basically, our bodies are. Yeah, right. Bro, like at the end of the day, abortion is murder, man. Because even when a woman is pregnant, she's given eating instructions, exercise instructions. You're not supposed to drink wine, for example, or eat particular types of food or alcohol, sorry, in general, because of the fact that you've got a living organism that's not strong enough to process those kind of, like those particular ingredients. That's why when babies then come out, they have to be breastfed and given that sort of baby milk mash and food before they can eat solid food. Man. It's a living organism. There's no argument.
Why do you think they got the maternity leave and shit? When a bitch gets pregnant, she has to leave work.
Yeah.
Go up to a year, paid leave. Because you got a fucking baby in your body that needs to be birthed and brought to life, man. Be nurtured properly and brought to life. I don't mean you can just neglect that and start murdering kids. Bitches are just out of your minds, man. Bitches that have poor abortion, you're actually you're out of your minds. You're demons. You need to be put to death.
Lord is going to destroy.
Lord is going to destroy.
It's crazy because in the ancient world, women would have been crying for not being able to have a kid. That was like a shame onto them, man.
Yeah.
People knowing that you can't bring forth a seed. People were laughing. It's like Rachel and Rebecca Leah and Rachel and all that. They was having back and forth because one could have a child and the other was bearing it for a moment. And the other one will make fun of her and all that. You know, they'll make fun of each other. It was a shame onto them if he was barren back in the ancient world. Nowadays, that's like that's a medal honor of achievement. Some bullshit. Man.
It says Lamentations 4:3. Even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people has become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness.
Even the animals, man, they don't cry for abortion. You don't see no sea monsters saying, "I don't want to have you." Start trying to kill their own baby in their stomach. You don't see no animals doing that. I don't see no lioness saying, "I don't want to have these F them lion cubs." You don't see no lions doing that.
There was a which got to back you up. There was a documentary on Netflix, Animal Babies or something like that, where it's basically showing you just the lengths that certain animals go to.
Make sure they have their youth.
Yeah, so that their lineage continues, man. Right?
It's a process, man.
It's a needed process, man. You see certain that there was one thing where basically like the mother couldn't find the animal because it drifted.
Yeah, they panic.
It was, you lose their mind. That's it.
They're not like the nigga woman. She'll just leave that kid, man.
Yeah, just to go to the club.
Yeah, the one bitch, she left the kid in the car. He died in the car, some shit like that. She wanted to go out to the club.
Yeah, another one that the bitch went to the club. There was no heating in the house, so she left the oven on. Right, and then it burned the whole house down. And the worst thing as a nigga woman, well, made it seem like tragic accident. Then it found out that actually, she was out in the club, man.
So the girl's not out.
You know, look, man, when you have children, man, it ain't no joke, man. Sex ain't no joke, man. Right? That's why, once again, what does the scripture say about in the ancient world? It says, keep it in straightly, man. Right?
Yeah, man, you gotta watch these bitches because look what you do. You give bitches liberty. Look what they do, man.
Yeah.
They just do stupid shit, man. That's why they're supposed to be, like brothers are saying, like women are just big fucking kids, man. You gotta attend to them like they're your little children, man. There's this attention seeking all the time, crying and moaning over small shit. They're like big fucking kids, man.
Yeah. And annoyingly, he used to give power, so now they're big kids with power.
Yeah, they're in Legoland now.
Yeah.
Now they're just out there running amok.
Yeah, anyone who's ever watched Game of Thrones and knows the character Joffrey, man, they're Joffreys, man.
Joffrey was a young kid, got given too much power, started doing dumb shit. Everyone was looking at this little nigga like, what the fuck he doing? But he had power, so no one had any power to do. He was the kid, so no one had any power to do anything against him. And that's what these broads have become, man. They've been made into demigods, if you will.
Yeah, when you look at the nature of a woman, you just realize they're just big fucking children. They just want attention. These big kids with titties and arts, man. That's all they are. Always want your fucking attention, man.
But in single and independent, right?
Yeah. I can do it by myself.
Yeah.
It's still plugging up my line,
Yeah.
talking shit, leaving me voice notes and all this shit, crying because I'm going out and doing something, and you're not part of the situation.
Yeah,
Because
that's
you're
it.
jealous and you're fucking,
man.
you know.
Hey, brothers always tell stories about how the chicks will be, the women will be like, oh, going to the brothers again. And all
Yeah,
of
like,
that
all them-
passive
All
aggressive.
them statements, all them Mike R statements, man.
Yeah.
Let's go
yeah.
get your ass put out into
That's
the fucking
it,
wilderness
that's
somewhere.
it.
Put
That's
your ass in
it.
the jail cell somewhere, in the dungeon.
But little do they know that it is because of that brotherhood that they have a chance to go past, rather to survive the hell that is coming, man. This is the thing: if your husband is of the elect and you stay with him, you gonna be good.
Yeah, they don't understand that.
Leave him, you. Sorry,
No, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, so leave him, and you're free.
These women don't understand that, man. They don't understand about the brotherhood. They're against it. When really that's for their benefit, man. You know, but they're coming against it because they don't understand that that's a straight up orderly order. That's an order, a heavenly order right there, man.
Yeah.
The man is above the woman. The woman is second to man, man. Second to nature, man. You ain't equal. You ain't no equal rights. All that shit, man. All that bullshit that you bitches be pushing at. That's not permissible in the scripture. The brotherhood is a righteous thing. You don't understand. Because you're Satan.
Rock 25 and 16. I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. And if I can say, because a man's natural, the pride of a woman, a man is a woman. The glory of a man is a woman, and the glory of a woman is her hair. And it's natural, man. So what in the spirit as well, you can be a mighty man, but if you've got a woman that's not doing right by you, it fucks with your spirit. Because at the end of the day, your woman, in accordance to the scriptures, in the spirit, in reality, in real life, is supposed to be a representation of you, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
And at the end of the day, man, the majority of these women don't want to do right by you. They've got selfish intentions, man. This thing that this so-called term of hypergamy, which is a real thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of these women get with you for opportunity because they're just trying to use you for your resources, sap life out of you, and trying to find the next sucker to
And they're just ultimately jealous because they can't do what men. That's their main argument. A man can sleep with as many women as he wants, but she's not allowed to, and they get upset. But that's what you was made to do. You was made to stick with one man. That breeds less contentment. That stops adultery from happening first and foremost, and that stops you from spreading diseases, man. But if a man sleeps with as many women as he wants and brings forth the seed, he ain't gonna be spreading no diseases. The majority of diseases come from fucking women. And you mating with other mates, man. So that's why a man is supposed to, he's the real hypergamous one. And he's supposed to be out here, spreading his seed. Polygamy and all. A woman's supposed to obtain to that one man. That's called order, man. That's called maintaining order. And all of you women will get served the same way. You will receive your orderly services, your duties, your sex and all that, your food, your raiment, all of that. Because the man's gonna take care of all of you. The same. Yeah? They're not gonna mistreat you, man. Because you women, you fall in love, you're emotional. But a man, he can be in love with his woman and still pop another woman, man. Because he's not dealing with emotions. He's just doing what he's naturally made to do. It's biology, man.
Yeah. I've got this bit of information. This is women's health.gov, basic information. Because the vagina is moist and has a thin lining.
Very moist. Some of them bitches be over moist, man. Like waterfalls and shit. I was dealing with one thing, but that shit, you didn't even have to do much. You just touch her like that, and the shit just turned into a waterfall, man. God damn, man.
Funny you said that. I was listening.
That song, Luda's song, Splash
Oh
Water.
yeah, old school. Yeah, these bitches be waterfalling for real, man. Like one bit touched it, she was splashing everywhere. Man. God damn, man. How come you so fucking? You're just overlating like too much, man. Shit's as watery as hell. but that was made for the man to enjoy. Pleasures, man.
So that's what I was saying. But then the Lord has put such a reprobate spirit on
Certain man that they don't desire that at all. They desire another man's booty.
Brains are being rewired to be fucking, man. There's too many demons.
It says, because the vagina is moist and has a thin lining, it is easier for women to get an STI than it is for a man. Also, a woman is less likely to have symptoms of common STIs compared with men. That means a woman is more likely to have an STI and not know it.
That's why even when bitches can get STIs despite the clothing they wear, all that tight shit that they keep wearing, the thrush and all that shit, because they wear all that tight clothing. They're not letting their shit breathe, man. Supposed to let that shit breathe clean air by wearing dresses, man. Not wearing no tight ass jeans. Women ain't supposed to wear no damn jeans or jeggings, man.
Yeah, hey, I saw one broad, where basically, because she was all she ever wore was that fucking tight shit like you're saying, like, you know, the jogging, but not even jogging. It always constantly wearing that. Basically, it created friction. Was like a friction thing. Just had like a nasty brown mark.
Yeah,
just
all stinking.
Yeah, but it's man.
Just let that shit breathe, man. The STIs come from them damn women, man. Don't come from the men.
They do
majority of the time.
We all dying. And this is the thing as well, like the way, because these women go with anything and anyone and everything, they'll have sex, let's say, with these down low niggas.
Well, yeah, that's when it starts coming from the men.
Yeah.
You plug in booty and then plug in vagina as well.
Yeah.
Last point. Studies have established that women have a higher biological risk of contracting STIs and HIV than men, with a higher probability of transmission from men to women than vice versa. So ultimately, that's why women are not supposed to sleep around.
That's supposed to have more than one part. That's to your dying day, huh? A woman that's supposed to have a husband is just for that one man. Until if he dies, then that's the only way you're allowed to go and remarry, man.
Yeah.
If he's still alive and he ain't supposed to touch nothing.
Yeah, because this is the thing. It's something I've thought about. Chicks will be like, your dick is small, but really, you ain't supposed to know what another man's dick looks like anyway. Well, how do you know?
Enjoying themselves.
Yeah, no, through over much living. Well, that's what Scripture says. She that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth.
Bitches be getting trains running them and all of that.
Yeah.
And they be hopping on all kinds of rods, man.
Some of the stories you hear, man, I heard one story where basically one chick, she used to get run trains on in uni.
Met the worst place,
yeah.
Man.
Met a new guy.
I met a new guy, right? And then this guy's all showing her off on Facebook and shit. But but it's the worst thing about it. She's still friends on Facebook with the guys that ran trains. Of course, man.
He's gonna tell our boyfriend, that's just my friends.
Yeah.
But that's my cousins. That's what they'll tell them.
And they're looking at this motherfucker like, you sucker.
They probably tried to tell him, look, man, I fucked it. And he's probably just like, you're hating. You're trying to warn you and say that your girls are home, man. Yeah. She's probably still fucking them while she's with that dude. Straight up adultery. That's why this place has to be destroyed, man. Because the adultery level as well, man. Like women that's out here, they got husbands, so-called boyfriends and all that, which are really husbands. And they're just out here destroying their shit to anyone, man. They don't care. There's no levels of respect on them. No fear. None of that, man. Bitches is out here throwing their pussy at everyone and wiping her mouth and say she's done nothing wrong. You know? That's why these bitches are getting ready to get judged out here.
Yeah. Sirach 25 and 19, all wickednesses are little to the wickedness of a woman.
Can't trust these hoes, man. Even if you get with a girl, you gotta just be wary of her, man. There ain't no such thing as a good woman out here, man. They're all heifers. They're all wicked one way or another. King Solomon did an experiment himself. He was the wisest king. He dealt with 1,000 women, and out of all of them women, he said none of them are righteous, man. Not one out of 1,000 women. So they all had some form of wickedness in them, man. It was like, this one's wicked in this way, that one's wicked in that way, this one's fucking wicked in this way. They're all fucking wicked, man.
The scripture says,
snares and nets.
Scripture says, Sarah as daughters you are, right? But Sarah lied to the angel. Huh?
Yeah, and then denied it.
Denied it.
Lied to an angel, like he's dumb or something.
Yeah.
He told you you laughed, and you said no. How are you gonna lie to an angel? In his face as well. Like the angel, look, man, this bitch just lied to me, man. Man, Isaac, man. That's a suck. Isaac laughed off. You lied. Laughed and you lied to me, man. You had the audacity, but that was in the proper. That was in the spirit anyway. That's meant to happen. So he got the name Isaac. You know?
Just to show you that if Sarah is, the said it, and then would you call it even Sarah's going in line for an angel, how much worse are these nasty things? You can't.
The name Sarah means princess.
Yeah.
Sarah means my princess, man. But these bitches ain't princesses right now. They're a bunch of whores and sluts.
Yeah.
They want to call themselves queens.
Yeah.
Which the word queen means a harlot, man.
Yeah. Which is so. Because the thing is, they all call each other queens, but it's so beautiful that actually the etymology goes and actually means that.
Yeah.
Because they really, once again, they're putting these badges on themselves.
Yeah.
And that is actually professing who they are.
Yeah, they literally call themselves queens. They don't call themselves princesses.
Yeah.
Notice that. The spiritual, man, they're actually just calling themselves hoes. Harlots out here. Every time you see a bitch, yeah, queen, this my queen, I'm queen B in this. If you're queen B, you're the queen harlot. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're the top harlot of them all.
Yeah. Oh, and Prince, one of the queens mentioned in scriptures with the Queen of Sheba, right? She
Which means a harlot.
Yeah. She was was it polyamorous?
Yeah, she had many partners,
yeah,
man.
which is proof that King Solomon didn't deal with it.
Tried to say that, he had Belshazzar, Melanet, whatever, from Queen Sheba and King Solomon didn't lay with Queen Sheba, man.
Because that would have been adultery on King Solomon's part.
Exactly, man. He knew much better than to deal with Queen Sheba. He had plenty of women to deal with than Queen Sheba, man.
Yeah, plenty of virgins, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Women that would.
Women that may have been bred from birth, not bred, but like raised from birth to be King Solomon's.
But he's gonna go for this heifer that has like 3, 4, 5 men back home.
300 men. Or something.
300.
You know what I'm saying? She's probably got a partner for every day of the week, man. And her servants. Fuck that Queen Sheba shit. And she had a son called Melanet by King Solomon. Ain't no son, ain't no seed of Melanet, man. And then you got Selassie and all this bullshit that came from Melanet's line. That shit does not exist. That's made up. That's what you call science fiction, man. That's what you call a myth and a legend, man. That shit never happened. Melanet was never born. Queen Sheba did not sleep with King Solomon, man. That never happened. It's not in the right. None of that. Because it never happened. To get that shit out of your mind. But you Rastafarians, you live and die by that so-called myth, that legend, man. You're willing to kill another Jake on the backs of so-called Selassie and Rastafarianism, which is all based upon ideology, man. That false ideology.
2 Peter 1:16, for we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, but we're eyewitnesses of his majesty, meaning they saw the Lord in the flesh, man. They were there front row, man.
And how did the Lord come about? Through the acts of sex.
Yeah.
Through a man having sex with his woman. Through Joseph laying with Mary. That was Yahushua's biological mother and father, man, on the earth. Weren't no immaculate deception, man. That was an immaculate, immaculate conception. There was an immaculate deception.
Yeah.
That shit never happened, man.
There's another cunningly devised fable.
Yeah, witchcraft, man.
And that's why you have the family line of the Lord in the first chapter. That's why he's the fruit and the offspring of Jesse. That's why it was
David.
That's it's like
Abraham, son of David.
and that's why it was prophesied to come through the lines of Judah, man. You couldn't come through the lines of Judah with an angel, because ultimately
That also proves what? Reincarnation. Son of Abraham. Abraham was who? Isaac. Son of David, King David, was who? King Solomon. So that also proves reincarnation, right? No?
I was trying to find, but I forget where it is, Matthew. But it says, for there as the angel in heaven above, which neither married nor given in marriage.
The angels don't have sex.
They don't have sex.
You got this other thing with the Nephilim, which is the word Nephilim in Pallium in the Hebrew just means fallen. They're just talking about the sons of God that dealt with the women of other nations back then before the flood. That's all that's dealing with. Ain't dealing with angels. Angels do not have sex, man. They do not consummate marriage. Marriage is having sex between a man and a woman. Angels do not have physical sex. So there's no such thing as the Nephilim and all that shit, the fallen angels that dealt with men, the sons of women of the other nations. That never happened, man. That's another cunning devised fable. That's what the truth does. The truth shuts down all these lies, man, and all these wayward philosophies that the world has brought up, especially through the so-called religion of that pagan Christianity, man, that the so-called white man pushed through the Renaissance era. You know, the issue, another cunning devised fable is the issue of hell.
Yep.
Hell does not exist, man. The word hell just means the grave.
Yep.
Sha'awal, which means the grave, man. And then you had the land of Gehenna, where they used to just burn certain, dead things and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, basically it was like a wasteland. You know, that's what hell is. Hell is not no damn pit cauldron under the earth that's boiling hot, and you got a pitch, and Satan's there with a pitchfork, poke you in the arse. That's cunningly devised fables, man.
So it says, responses, 1 Corinthians 15:39. All flesh is not the same flesh, for there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial.
Yeah, so we have different bodies, man. This body that we have here is not going to inherit the kingdom, the heavenly body. When we die, the body decomposes, goes back into the earth. Your spirit goes back to the Father of spirits, goes back into the fourth dimension, the heavens, and you get your celestial body, which is in the heavens, man. That's where you rest. You know, your body is at peace. You don't have to suffer from any ailments. There's no such thing as death or sickness in that celestial body, man. That's a different body from this physical that we're living in right now. This is where you feel pain and hunger and strife. If you're in that celestial, you don't deal with food. You don't deal with hunger. There's different bodies. And the Lord don't give us an immortal body. Yep. Which is where, even if you don't want to eat, you don't even have to eat. You're going to have that kind of body. You're going to have extraterrestrial body. Just like the angels. The angels don't have to eat. They definitely don't have sex. But they don't even have to eat if they want to.
Oh, because even the times when it appeared that the angels were eating,
They weren't eating. It's like a make-believe hologram. Yeah. So that's how powerful the Lord is, man. He's got bodies reserved where you don't even, the engines are just fully tanked.
Running spirit.
Yeah, pure energy, man.
Pure energy.
But that's what our bodies are basically maintaining our bodies. Really, it's the spirit. If the spirit's out of your body, your body's not going to move, man. You're just going to be brain dead.
Yep.
Your heart's going to be pumping blood, but there's no soul in you, man. That's why they got the term brain dead. Like that guy, little TJ, he got shot last week. Now they're saying he's been brain dead for like a week. So basically, they're just keeping him on the machine when really they should turn the shit off.
Yeah, he
ain't coming back. He's brain dead. That means his soul has left his body.
Yeah, and the thing in the heavens, he's just there like, why
are you keeping my shit alive? I'm dead. And then it's keeping me like, it's like a ghost. Yeah. They're keeping me there. And I'm not even in my body, man. He's having an out-of-body experience right now. Like he's saying, he's really looking down from the heavens saying, why am my shit still pumping? I'm not even in my body, man.
That's Esau with his miracles, man.
That's how the body is. If you ain't got the spirit in you, you ain't gonna be able to move anyway. And that's why the spirit is the real power source, man. That's the power of the Lord. That spark, man. The breath of life. That's the spirit of the Lord that's in you, man. Anyway, these are not hard things to understand, but the world makes it hard. Esau makes the shit hard, like death and all that. He tries to make death sound like there's no answer for what happens to you after you die. When it's in the scriptures, man. Even the animals, they just decompose, go back to the earth. Their spirits go back into the earth. They don't go back into the heaven. They're in their order. Our bodies, they go back to the Father, man. That's all it is. Your body decomposes, then in the third, fourth generation, you come back through your folk line, man. Through your kinfolk. That's all that is, man. That's all the cycle of life. The Esau makes it hard to understand. Like you say, that's just too simple to understand. That's too simple for it to be the explanation for life and death. It has to be more.
Genesis 2 and 7, and the Lord Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul, man. And yeah, man. At the end of the day, man, when your spirit leaves, like there's even like you lose body mass when your spirit leaves.
Yeah, you lose all kind of weight. Your body becomes cold. Go ahead,
yeah, man. Because at the end of the day, man, your spirit, man, it carries weight, man. You gotta understand, like at the end of the day, man, the Heavenly Father, man, it has the scripture calls the Heavenly Father the Father of spirits for a reason, man. Every single nation upon the face of the planet Earth, man, really and truly goes back to the Heavenly Father, both the righteous and the wicked spirits. And when the Lord requires your spirit to come back to Him, man, at the end of the day, man, oh, you're gonna say that?
No, it's not.
There's nothing you can do, man. Same way the Lord can send your spirit back, like the Apostle Paul when he had the outer body experience, when he went into the heaven.
Oh, you read it.
Yeah,
So read it. That's what it's from. It's biblical. It's real.
Yeah.
You can have an out of body experience, man.
Yeah.
You have to go to say something.
Oh, you know, I was gonna say, because that breath, is going into knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, ultimately, which is which is why you're seeing these Jakes, the friends, a load of our people, straight up Jakes, Israelite foreigners, whatever, they gonna be where right now? Where are they running on Central London, right? And a procession of the dead. That's what that was.
Spiritually dead.
Yeah, spiritually dead, man.
That's why it don't even matter about the size of it, man. It's the spirit that's within it. You could be as small as a midget, but you can have the courage of the spirit of a lion in you, man. You put a spirit and courage of a lion, mighty spirit in you, where you don't even fear your enemy. You're willing to go far and beyond to take down your enemy. You can put a spirit in you like that. So it's not about the size of a man. It's about the spirit that the Lord put in you, man. That spirit of courage. Spirit is very powerful, man. As I said, being a spirit in you, you're a zombie. You're the walking dead. If you're spiritually dead, it's even worse.
Hey, even just look at it. I'll get right at this real quick. This is the Paul speaking again, 2 Corinthians 12 and 4. How that when he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful.
Read into it.
No, this is the right one.
1 Corinthians 12.
Yeah, I was inserting to that 1 second. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, and then we get straight into the point. Or we into it. 1 Corinthians 12, and I want to start from verse.
Should say in a certain day.
For
The second
word circle. I think first one. That's when it's the
second
gift.
Corinthians about the body.
Yeah.
The second
Corinthians.
read into it.
Okay.
Read down.
So 2 Corinthians, 12th chapter. Let me start from this, from verse 6. For though I would desire to glory, I will not be a fool, for I will say, but now I forbear, let any man think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me.
Yeah, and if I can say that's why the apostles are the way they are. Because the things they hate is men basically.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not of us, this is of the Lord.
Says, for this thing I besought the Lord Christ that it might depart from me, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient.
Well, that was the element that he had in his flesh.
Yeah. For my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glorify in my infirmities, that the power of my Mashiach may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in my infirmities and reproaches and necessities and persecutions and distress for Mashiach's sake. When I am weak, then I am strong. I am the full and glorified. Yea, ye have compelled me, for I ought to have been commended of you. For in nothing am I behind the very chiefest apostles.
Go into that.
That'd be nothing. For the first. Did I not?
What's it?
12, 12. Sure, it's not the first book of God.
First one themselves, guys.
Yes.
What's the word in here? It's
Talk about the book.
Second Corinthians 12 and 13 are the two verses where I knew such a man, whether in the body or out the body, I cannot tell Yahweh knows how that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words which is not lawful for a man to utter.
So the man Paul was explaining it to in that letter right there to the Corinthians, the Jakes that was in Greece, that he had an out of body experience. He actually died and he witnessed his death. He actually went up to the third heaven, the fourth dimension, and he saw unspeakable things. Saw the heavens of the heavens, basically. His eyes was totally open to everything around him, man. And the Lord, through the process of time, put his spirit back into his body. That's not the time of his that wasn't the time of his collection. And he put his spirit back in his body and he carried on doing his ministry. He actually tasted the death. He actually knew what happens after you die. And your spirit just goes back to the heavens, man. That's exactly what happens when you die, man. That's why your body gets cold, because the spirit is pure heat, it's pure energy. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the point. That's the point. I've got this real quick. Second Corinthians, the 5th chapter, and I'm gonna go into let me start from the top. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, being the body, going into the word bodig, which means house, we have a building of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens, talking about the difference between the spiritual body and the carnal body. Because ultimately when you die, your carnal body disintegrates back into the ground and you go into your spiritual body. You get judged in the heavens and you come back in another carnal body, and now that carnal body might be jacked up and fucked up depending on what you do.
okay, just from what he says, Ecclesiastes 12 and 7, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the Most High gave.
That's the order of life.
That's what you got us saying, ashes for ashes, dust to dust.
That's it, man. So Esau tried to put a spin on that. So, even the Egyptians, all these evil nations, but they always want to make simple things sound complicated. Try and mingle up the process of death. You got ancient tombs and shit with food and all this gold and shit. When they talk about the afterlife and all this, man, you ain't taking none of that with you, man. You got all that food and gold and shit stored in your tomb for no reason. That's what you call vanity. You ain't taking none of that with you. First Timothy 6 tells you, come into this life having nothing, and you leave having nothing, man. That's it. You don't even leave with your body. Your body goes back into the earth, like you just read, and your spirit goes back to the Heavenly Father who formed you, man. That's the order of life. So all that ancient Egyptian afterlife shit, that's bullshit. Then Esau with his fucking, mad science and all that. What happens to you when you die? That's bullshit. Everything that you need to know about life and death is in the scriptures, man. Why? Because the Lord is the one that gives you life. The issues of life and death are in the hands of the Lord. I kill and I make it life, man. No one else does. Except Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So who better to tell you what happens to you, man? What the actual process is. And our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, he beat that.
It says, verse 2, 2 Corinthians 5. For in this we groan earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven.
Yeah, because these bodies are, they're detestable. They're feeble. They break down and you catch ailments, you get sick. Like brothers are still young. Your body can make you feel like you're 60 years old. But you're still young. You're still, have that veracity in your body and your spirit, like you can, climb a mountain. But your body's not, able to do so, man. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. But these bodies, they break down over time, right? That's why you have to keep replenishing your engine to keep the ship running.
And sin that is within us as well.
Makes that happen even more so.
Because hey, would you
But when you go into like elements and everything like that, it's just the spirits that are on.
That goes back to Adam, because the Lord, basically plagued Adam. When they sinned in the garden, the Lord said, "All right, now you're gonna have to, by the sweat of your brow." So now you're gonna have to deal with tilling the ground. Now you're gonna have to deal with ailments. You're gonna get sick. All these things that happened from the time of Adam, right? Because before he went off, they didn't know what an ailment was. They didn't deal with ailments. They was fully healthy, right? It's only after they went off that's when the Lord started plaguing them, right? Then he had to start dealing with what we deal with today, which is short lifespans, ill health, your body at dis-ease. That's where you get the word disease from. The body's at dis-ease,
Yep. And verse 3, if so, that being clothed, we shall not be found naked. We,
like Adam was.
Yeah.
Adam was found naked, meaning what? He sinned.
for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, be a burden, not for that we would, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon that mortality might be swallowed up of life.
Because these bodies, these bodies are a burden unto us, man. Because they weigh down your spirit. Because you can't do certain things when you get to certain ages, man.
Mhm.
You can't move how you want to move, man. Wake up, the bones all whippering, breaking down. These bodies are a burden. That's why they call the temple, like the tabernacle, like we just read. It's called the chains of darkness, man. We're bound by our spirit is bound by these chains. But the Lord's going to let loose soon. He's going to let us out of these chains. Give us new bodies, the mortal bodies, man. They don't taste of death. They don't, they don't go off. They don't sin. And that also means, like, goes into the fact that God's going to put His laws in our inward parts. Give us the heart of flesh. Get rid of that heart of stone. So we ain't going to sin no more. So we ain't going to go through we ain't going to taste of death. We ain't going to deal with the punishments of going on. Suffering through ailments. And like you said, ailments, all that stuff, diseases, they're just demons. Demons ain't going to be able to attack you in those new bodies. You're going to be sin-proof. Sin is our kryptonite.
Now he that hath wrought us for the same same thing is Yahweh, who also hath given unto us the earnest of the Spirit. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Verse 8, we are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. So he was saying, I'd rather be dead, man, away from the carnal one, be spiritual with the Heavenly Father.
Job said that he wished he died in his mother's womb. Yesterday, he didn't want to rather rested than be in these tabernacles of death. Look what he had to go through. He had to go through kinds of suffering. But he said he swallowed it. The scripture says that he swallowed it down. Like water.
Yeah.
He dealt with it, man.
Yeah.
Because he knew there was nothing he could do about it. He's just being tested.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do with.
Wherefore we labor, that whether
Spots and training. Look at what they're wearing. Man. Just looking through the woods. They don't know who's in there. You know what I'm saying? That's what's gonna come. Coming into that time where bitches start getting ravished. They'll be doing some hunky-dory shit. Now, you know how these women are getting more bold. They're going to protest, thinking they can riot in the streets like men do. Roll up to man, run their mouth, and thinking nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to carry on doing that, walking through the woods one day where there's high skirts and looking like sluts and whores, and they ain't going to make it out of that bitch, man. Someone's going to grab them and take them into the woods, further into the woods.
Yeah, and then
They bury your ass under the brush somewhere. Man. Yeah. That's going to start happening, man.
The Lord is slowly but surely correcting that spirit that's in this world, man.
Yeah.
Less and less men are willing to
take the shit.
Yeah.
Jacob's trouble is going to be like a time for revenge for a lot of dudes. They're going to be out here plotting on women.
Today's the day.
Yeah, today. They're going to be plotting on their baby mums and all that. They're going to be waiting like that guy that had to do with that black heifer. He slapped the food out of his hand and threw the kid's food on the floor because he didn't bring enough kid food for the kid for free for them gremlins, but he brought kids for food for his own kid. Yeah. And the damn demon ass heifer took the food and threw it on the floor.
And now that child's not gonna eat.
Now he's gonna eat shit for the whole day. His mum ain't cooking nothing.
Yeah.
She's dependent on other men bringing food for her own kids, man.
And he was like, bro,
You had them kids.
Dusty ass kids ain't, man.
You had them
Talking about.
kids.
You're supposed to bring food. That's why these women are gonna get fucked up. You had a kid, but 3 other men. How many other baby fathers you got? And you expect me to look after them? That's the one that I had. Yeah. You got the audacity to tell me to bring more food for them gremlins and my own kid. And then and also had the audacity to take the food I bought for my kid and actually chuck on the floor in my face. After I'm coming to see my kid every other day.
You know what? She saved her own life by what do we call it? By filming it. Because that's the kind of shit that makes your blood boil. Because the reason I say that is because if the camera weren't there, then you never know what that nigga would have done.
That shows you that these women are wicked, man.
yeah.
These women are desperately, just ferociously wicked, man. They're scornful creatures, they're demons. And that's why even more so in his last days, the Lord might put a spirit on that dude in the time of Jacob's trouble, and he might revisit that bitch and actually put us to death and take his son and dip.
Yeah, that's it.
That's gonna start happening, man. A lot of you women are gonna get held accountable for your wicked actions. Yeah, you're gonna be held responsible for your stupid decisions that you've done in your life, man. Yeah. Opening your lips to opening your quiver to every arrow. You're gonna have to pay for that, man.
There's certain bitches that have aborted a child where the man was like, "No, you ain't gonna do that." Where you get certain men, they yeah, and then the man, he'll remember that. He'll say, "This is for my son."
Child support, taking the man to court, taking all these fucking wages, basically running and making him, homeless and shit, man. Because you have to pay all these damn bills for a kid that really, didn't intentionally want, but you have to take care of it, right?
But once again, that's why which no one is absolved or blamed, right? But that's why he has made the society the way it is. Because back in, honestly, think about it. Sometimes in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, right? Sex was like the last thing you did with a woman. Yeah, you'd have to quarter. You have to quarter. You'd have to
quarter means a game.
Yeah.
You're doing back and forth.
Doing back and forth.
That's why they had the term first base,
second base,
third base, and a home run.
Yeah. Nowadays, like honestly, I think about it. Certain chicks that I meet, they'll let me, nut in them, not with protection, let me hit it, but they wouldn't let me see their CV. It was like, oh no, that's private. I was like, but I've seen you naked. I've been inside you. But then they'll say their CV is private. Shows you how backwards. In fact, let me grab it. This is Isaiah 29.
You women are gonna get fucked up in these last days, man. There's another spirit how a lot of women and girls have been walking past us today. Spirit, man. I'm telling you, man. A lot of these happens, they're gonna start catching hell to the point they're gonna be looking for the men of the Lord. Running and looking for the men of the Lord in these times to come.
Yeah. So Isaiah 29:16, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as for display. So Esau has turned things upside down. We read in Psalms 50 and 16 earlier on, how basically takes the words of the Lord and basically casts it behind him. So basically Esau's looked, he's like, okay, cool, the Lord says do it this way, okay, flip it over, I'm gonna do it that way. It says, who shall the work say of him that made it? He made me not. And that's what Esau was saying. By Esau trying to make himself as a new god, he's basically, disregarding the power of the Most High. Right? It says, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it? He had no understanding. Right? So can the Mona Lisa turn around and say, actually, I forgot who painted it, but whoever painted me didn't know what they were doing. Really, I should look this way, or I should look that way. No, the creator, right, is greater than the creation or the creature, right? And we are a creature, right? We're created by the Most High, because creature just means thing created.
That's right.
Let me grab this as well. So Jeremiah 31. What did you have?
No, I'll finish off.
Oh, it's like Jeremiah 31:22, right? It says, how long will thou go about, all thy backsliding daughter? The Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. the woman shall compass a man, right? And that's most certainly what has happened, right? By Esau telling things like that, because Esau knows that when things are in order, things work out. Like as the saying goes, a well-oiled machine, right? But Esau knows actually, like you always give the analogy, now actually chuck some diesel in that petrol engine. Yeah. And let's see what happens. What happens when you put diesel in the petrol engine? Vice versa. Now you get chaos. The engine don't work. So then now so now you need a new solution. Right? I.e. order out of chaos.
Yeah, man. Because Esau's giving these women false realities, bro. Like at the end of the day, false hope.
Yeah.
You got a female VP, but she doesn't really have no power over nothing. She's just there. She's just the figure face. She's the face.
Yeah.
She's the face of feminism. But at the end of the day, that feminism shit ain't gonna get you no fucking way, man. You women have just been missold a fucking pipe, you know. You want to come and say something?
No, yeah, she's just a beacon of witchcraft, man. Making these bitches think that they can actually achieve. But a lot of the time she speaks, right? People are like, "What the hell is she talking about?" Like it's not making any sense. You know, trying to go and
but look at our history, man. Like you Jake like to call yourselves Christians. You know, you claim you read the Bible. Look at the history of Israel. When has we ever had a queen over Israel? When have we ever had like a ruler of the nation that was a female? You won't find it.
you had Deborah, but that was a mockery. That was done on purpose. But even in Hebrews, the 11th chapter, but what does it go back and say? Yeah, she's not mentioned. But because really, who was really running the shots? It was a man that was really running the shots. You know?
You might even try and say Esther, but Esther had to do a certain particular job. She wasn't ruling over Israel.
Yeah, Daniel
she was a successor. She was put in a certain position so she could basically live in Israel.
Because a man couldn't have done that, bro. That was specifically something, you know, in that story that a woman had to do. Right?
Showing you also the power of the Most High, because she did something that actually should have got her killed. Because she went to the king uninvited. Married a heathen man. Right?
To deliver Israel from Haman, man.
Haman Malone.
Haman Malone. Right now.
In that situation, we were in captivity. But in our rulership, we went out their way to, desperate times, but in our rulership, we went out their way to make a woman a ruler. No, none.
Egypt is marrying the heathen now. She ain't doing it to help deliver Israel.
Yeah.
She did it for all wicked deeds,
and to try and rub it in the face.
Bring back tears into the nation, man. That fucking Serena Williams. That's why she lost her last game, man. She just came back all the way, like she started winning championship rounds again, and she started losing. Now she's been knocked out already. And she's a fucking traitor, man. Yeah. She's married a damn fucking heat, bringing forth tears, man. So the Lord took her fucking blessing from her, man. Now she's got bare elements to perform to her fucking full potential. That's good for us. Marrying a damn heat.
So these, what was it, that Levi chick, man? Was it Naomi Osaka? Would you call it, especially with that fucking in that industry, she didn't end up with it. Right? No, she's dealing with that rapper all day. You know, why? Because she's more right in the head than Serena, that deep.
Yeah, Eve as well. You've got the rapper name.
Yeah.
She's married to a fucking. She got the name Eve and she's married to Esau. Exactly. Look at that, man. And it shows you, nigga woman's a fucking traitor by nature.
She that is my enemy.
Well, 2nd Ezra 16 and 33. The reason I bring this out is a lot of these men are going to die deaths, serious deaths in the war, serious death in the famine, and these women are going to be left out here unprotected. This is 2nd Ezra 16 chapter verse 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegroom. The woman shall mourn, having no husband. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helper. A lot of you are just wasting money on marriage ceremonies that you should use to buy some gold and silver.
Marriage is like a money rack. Money rack. It's just there for them to make it alimony. Pounds of money.
Yeah, you want to say marriage? Hey, in this society, you're giving up percent of your estate.
Benefits women, they don't benefit. Married women.
Spending all that crazy ass money.
And wedding, it's all about the woman, the dress, the wedding ceremony, everything's about the fucking woman.
in any business transaction, if there was a 50% chance of failure, majority of people want to go.
Who would you call it as a dragon? Say sorry, I'm out.
And on top of that, you got the bitch dressed in all white like she's a virgin.
Yeah.
She's been ran through by the whole fucking whole fucking street.
We might even have some
So now
congregation.
I was about to say she got ran through by the whole fucking audience, man. Turn up to the damn web. She got put on a white dress and act like she's some fucking virgin, man. It's never been touched.
So there was some video, funny enough, to speak about weddings in America, where this Jake woman, and of course it was a Jake woman, a Judah woman. She was basically selling box on the street corner the day before her marriage ceremony. Literally, bro. And then what happened was that the groom's friends happened to be driving through the neighborhood and they recognized her, so they played full to catch wires and then pretended they were going to pay her. And she was trying to sell her a box for £200 an hour. Like literally.
And they naturally commit adultery anyway. Because what did they do before the wedding? They stag and night and all that. So they were out there committing adultery anyway. Before the actual wedding somewhere. So it's all wickedness anyway. It's a wicked act.
So yeah, you got that one, which inspired me to
Get this one, Isaiah 47th chapter. Basically going into the same thing, right?
It says Isaiah 47, just remember it, verse. I'll start from 7, read into it a little bit, right? It says, and thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, right? Going into Babylon, right? So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Yeah. Says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, right? And hey, that land, America, that is a land of folly. Scripture says in Ecclesiastes, a folly is said in great dignity, right? That's why, once again, when you're saying when you're saying my body, my choice, right? When you're saying a YOLO, what are you actually doing? You're basically talking about living in pleasure, right? So it says that dwelleth carelessly. So that's why, once again, you're pushing all of these doctrines that are ultimately about carelessness, doing as whatever you want without any recompense, right? Because I mean, you gave the account for the chick that was basically like, just close your legs, then you won't have these problems. Right?
Bitches are trying to run to the clinic now, try and get the ball. All we have to do is stop opening your legs.
And it's the worst thing about it. They always speak about, oh, you got this woman, she would have died if she never had or whatever. All of that bullshit, right? But what they're actually not telling you is that's still unjustifiable, but that's like a tiny percentage.
And really, that's a curse from the Lord, because He said that you will suffer child pains. If the Lord wanted you to die from that, that's a curse that He put on you for some reason.
So should the whole tribe of Benjamin not be here?
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying.
Benjamin, because Esau was ruling back then when Benjamin was around. Done, man. He had a portion back then. Benjamin would stay little Benjamin for real.
Yeah.
Benjamin would have ended up like the tribe of Dan.
You would have 11 times in Revelation.
The next generation after would have been no generation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have been no Benjamin.
And then, hey, there would have been no Apostle Paul that was the case.
Exactly. It would have just died off. Esau would, we don't push it in ancient Rome. Not like ancient, pushing time. Esau was a devil. That's why he has to get taken up.
Right, so it says, that dwelleth carelessly, that says in thine heart, I am, and none else beside, going into that pride, right? I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children, right? Because any time at the beginning it talks about that virgin daughter, because America's never actually been touched. You might say 9/11, but we all know what happened. Inside job, or you may say Pearl Harbor, but that was to very much get the American people on side for a war, right? So it says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures. Verse 9. It says, but these two things shall come to the inner moment in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection.
Yeah, look at this as well. So I was thinking as well, just on that point as well. Like, in this society, people always, like, because they're perverse, they always use that power couple angle when they look at the celebrity. Like, whether it was like Kobe Bryant and Jesus or Nipsey Hussle and those, They like to talk about that, oh, you know, a man and a woman doing their thing, that Daisy and Beyonce type shit. But then look at how the Lord, beautifully just executed judgment from where two of those three men that I mentioned were taken out in cold blood, man. Now their wives are just famous widows, bro. And do you know what I mean? No matter what they do, no matter what they do, no matter how much money they invest, no matter how much sales they go through, they don't have the power over the spirit to bring those men back, man. You know? What you should be talking about is Abraham and Sarah, man. Isaac and Rebecca. That's the thing.
But do you know what the problem is about those relationships to those particular to these people? What does it say? It says even as Sarah
obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. Right? This is the thing. Those other chicks, especially like Beyonce, Jay-Z, right? They're basically two individuals that get together every night.
Open relationship.
You know,
Jada and fucking Will. That's
Jada and Will. Yeah.
Every time they show a basketball game, Jay-Z's with Beyonce, you can see her eyes link. You can see she's not disciplined.
Yeah, exactly.
She's wanton.
Exactly.
She's lingering on other men. Jay-Z knows those guys. She's always been an industry slut from when she was young, man. She's old school stories about Beyonce in them studio. So she's been an industry hoe for many years. Right? She's just a high profile industry hoe. Another high profile
Industry
homosexual. They're both industry hoes, bro. He goes both ways, she goes both ways. It's like Will Stinkin' Smith and Jada Stinkin' Smith and Will Smith, you know? They all open relationships, man.
Is the thing I remember.
Yeah, it's what people speaking about. There's a particular reason why there's more Jake men in Hollywood than Jake women. No one wants to deal with a Jake, but Amalek, they want to deal with
Everyone's dealt with them.
Yeah.
They all get passed around, basically. The same women get passed around to all them celebs. You get other people's seconds. Nastiness. And look at Michael B. Jordan's thing. He said he wanted to marry that girl. She just got finished doing with Future. Then she was with another celeb. And he just ended up with him. Yeah. He wanted to marry her. She's wise he didn't do that. But then now she was like, no, I don't even want to get married. I just want to stay at home. I want to stay in industry stores. So she jumped partner. That's what they all do. Yeah. Kim Kardashian. She had many partners, many basketball players, celebs gone through that.
And the thing as well is like these leagues to basically arrange it for a season, for a time. That you're this particular chick, that particular chick. When you look at that Amalekite, what's that fucking the Edomite? The one that was with Kim now. That weirdo. Forgot his name. Pete Davidson, that's it. Right? Which I mean, that's a powerful name, but it's a fucking Amalekite with that.
But nonetheless, right, he went from Ariana Grande to Kim Kardashian. But he's any random either. Exactly. He's got the money. He's probably able to say, look, I want her for a season. And that's the thing, because it's true. It's saying they push out this whole power couple thing, but they don't actually know what goes on behind the scenes. Right? How the nastiness of it was.
Exactly.
Where they lead to like, okay, cool, you two are the couple now. That's why, for instance, like, what was it? Yeah. Jackson, was it Janet Jackson? I think it was Janet Jackson, where maybe it was Serena Williams, where she dated the Amalekite, so the Arab, the Ishmaelite for a season.
Right, and then as soon as
that contract probably was up, then what did she do? She did.
That's why we need to get the fuck out of it.
A lot of these celebrities are idolized.
Yeah. That's why Kendrick Lamar, these are the wicked ass niggas, man, doing mock rituals of the Lord. You're going to be destroyed, man. Both of you done that, and that's it. You're going to pay for doing that mockery ritual of the Lord. Yeah. The Lord suffered for real with a crown of thorns on his head. They beat him to a pulp, man.
So he's marred more than any other man.
He's damn near beaten to death. He's beaten to death. Whipped and all of that. So you go do a mock ritual just for some fucking music festival. I'm gonna kill you, man.
And those you go on feel. But you wanna make mockery of that? Hey, the Lord's gonna have it whereby you gonna feel some of that thing, man.
Someone that can do something like that. Special. Yeah. And then to push murder using
that.
that you know, that moment when you look like the Lord. What did the Lord do? You can come to bring life.
That's
Right.
what faith false Jesus, false so-called
Yeah.
Jesus.
And his previous album, he was
Matthew 24.
Yeah.
Verse 5.
and his album that he just released
Yeah,
was
he's
talking
making
about
mockery of the Lord.
yeah,
And he's
talking about
pushing about the
yeah.
alphabet club, pushing about women's rights. Same shit he did at Blasphemy.
yeah.
The
So
whole album is about basically the whole alphabet club being free and open.
that's it.
Wicked and all that. The album before that was talking about being the Hebrew Israelite,
Yeah.
not black people. So you're a hypocrite. The Lord's
That's
gonna
it.
destroy you.
Hey, that's probably what he had to do in consolation for his life.
We don't, and that's why we don't trust you celebs anyway, man. We don't look to you celebs. Even the Lord said not many are called, man. We don't look to you entertainers and rich people that push his word. He doesn't need you. Because you're half-hearted anyway.
Matthew 24:5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, shall see.
Yeah, there can be false messiahs, man. He's one of them. Trying to come in and imitate. He goes down Matthew 24. It tells you that the false messiah trying to obtain himself like he's the Lord, you know. But he's just a nigga, man. He's a nigga that's waiting to be destroyed. He's got a nuclear missile with his name on it. Kendrick Lamar, man. He's got an actual missile with his name on it. We're going to make sure that he's going to have a special type of death for what he did. He made mockery of the Lord. He's damn near to blasphemy.
John 10:10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And that's what the majority of you Jakes has happened to the majority of you Jakes. You're spiritually and mentally, physically destitute, man. Our people are in such a state where, like, you can notice them progressively getting worse, man. Like, this brother wanted to. There was a period in time where you could go into a work, you can go to work, and then there might be the whole more activity going on. But you look at Jake's face and they wear it down with it, and then you have that conversation of, yo, these white people, man. That's it. Now, bro, those same Jakes, oh, you can't say that. You can't say it. Yeah, but you know, you can't.
They'll report you, man.
Let's do this. Warren, hey, you saying some things about it, you know. Yeah, you know, they'll start whistleblowing.
Reading that first thing.
Yeah, man. This is I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundant.
No, read the top of the verse.
Look, so John 10 and
Top of what the verse?
John 10 and 10. The thief cometh not, but with still. Or read, you mean like just a couple verses above there? John 10 and 7. Then said Yahushua unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. So, hey, that there were false prophets before the Lord, and the elect knew that ultimately they needed to wait on their true shepherd. That's why the apostle Peter, when the Lord said unto him, who you say ye that I am? He said, hey, you are the true anointed man, the son of the Most High.
Revealed to the Spirit.
Yeah.
That's why they Spirit. Holy Ghost, those the truth unto you. And the Lord said, what? My sheep hear my voice, which is what through the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture.
So you ain't gonna be able to get into the truth. They ain't sanctioned by the Lord. The Lord doesn't accept you. You ain't gonna be involved in this passion.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get the full understanding. The Lord doesn't suffer. It doesn't matter how many times you read the Bible back and forth. Or what you think you know, you're not gonna know the entirety or the full breakdown. No? Is that it?
We finish verse 10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly.
That's the only way. The Lord is the way, the truth, and the life. And the real Lord, his name is Yahushua. Ain't no Kendrick Lamar, ain't no Kanye West, none of these niggas out there. These niggas are destined for destruction because they're playing with the Lord's name and they're playing with his majesty. So when the Lord reveals himself from the heavens, they're gonna know that they fucked up.
That's right.
So the Lord's gonna reserve them niggas unto death. They're gonna see it. The Lord's will. We get to see that judgment when they are.
Okay.
Anyway, we're gonna close out. Give the praises of glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Dash. Lord's will you see brothers next week, man. Shalom to the apostles. Shalom to the elect.
Shalom.